Yo, welcome everybody back to the JV Sports Room. As usual, your host, JDINO, the other half of the team behind the scenes, my man Vince.
Yeah.
We running a little zone right now, so in the starting center spot / Kobe corner, my man Big J.
Body, baby.
Big body boy, as a lot of you guys know him in fantasy realm.
Yeah, baby. We here. Hey, it's a big day.
It's a big day.
Big draft. We here. We here.
We here.
We live.
We live. First time ever. Dynasty Fantasy Football Draft live.
Rookie draft, yeah.
Rookie draft, yes, sir. Gentlemen's Club, one of the original draft leagues.
Yeah.
Still got 10 of the 12 original team owners. And we here, man.
We've been going strong since 2015, man. This league's been going on since 2015. Was the initial startup draft, and we here in 2022 with our rookie draft. Names have come and gone, but like you said, the core 10 guys are still the same. So
yeah.
It's a good league, fun league.
And we've showed ground for a lot of other leagues. So we're going to get this thing started. We're going to kick it off, obviously, with the 101. Not the original owner of this pick.
Yeah, surprisingly.
Yeah. But we're gonna get the clock started.
Let's start the clock, man. Let's get this draft going. Before we go, let's break down the trade a little bit. Give the people, some understanding of what happened. Originally, the 101 is given to, like in the NFL, the worst team in the league, right?
Right.
So the worst team in the league ends up getting the first pick in the rookie draft. The worst team in our league was Baby Shark, a good buddy of ours. And just yesterday, there was a big, massive trade that went down. And the 101 was traded. So now the new owner of the 101 is a two-time champion in this said league. He hate me. Logan, who's been on the show, he traded a 2023 first-round pick, two 2023 first-round picks, a 2024 first-round pick, and a 2024 second-round pick.
2023 second-round pick.
2023 second-round pick.
So he gave a haul for what looks like
could be Breece
Hall.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So in the realm of Dynasty, first of all, let's get that clock started. Let's get Logan on that clock.
Yep.
And then we'll talk about how we got to this point.
Yes, sir.
Let's get Logan on that clock. Logan, you officially on the clock. You got 15 minutes, my man.
Shouldn't be hard, man. Shouldn't be hard.
Because he gave a haul, right? So Logan got here by trading essentially 3 first-round picks and a second-round pick.
Yes.
2 next year and 1 the year after.
Yep.
And then a second-round pick next year. So in the land of Dynasty, what does that mean? This
is huge. I mean, the way I approach Dynasty is one of two ways. You either want to be first or you want to be last. And this is me personally. If your team is sitting in that middle range, it's kind of no man's land for me personally. Logan is looking at his team, and we'll run down his roster when he makes the pick. But like I said, he's a 2-time champion, and this is what he does. He's known for his savvy trading. Similar to the NFL, your goal is to field the best roster as possible,
right.
Whether it's through the rookie draft, just drafting the prospects, or through trades. Mm-hmm. Logan has shown well in the trading market.
Obviously, it's paid off for him. 2-time champ, right?
Yeah, it's a back-to-back champion. His team is loaded, folks. He's built his team around some young core running backs, like the names of Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara.
Right.
And now, potentially, unless something crazy happens, it could be Breece Hall to that mix. So,
which, in our league, you are now allowed to play all 5 of those running backs.
Yeah.
So let's break that down a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. So most leagues obviously always have a quarterback, right? They always have at least 2 running backs that you start, at least 2 wide receivers, right? And at least 1 tight end, right? We've got all of that, except we give you 3 flex spots as well.
Right.
All right, which we just added one of those flex spots in just recently this season.
Yes.
So, Mr. He Hate Me.
Yeah.
He gets that memo, and he took advantage of
it. We say he takes advantage of it, but at the same time, his wide receiver core is a little bit weak there. But yes, he can start 5 running backs. But again, at the same time, what this roster construction allows you to do, it gives teams flexibility to start. If you are running back heavy, you can start multiple running backs.
Right.
If you're wide receiver heavy, you can start wide receiver, 5 wide receivers. Or if you have a blend of both, you can mix and match your players. It's not really a strict guideline on, okay, you have to start 3 guys, or
the only thing you
can start 2 tight ends.
Yeah, the only thing you cannot do is start 2 quarterbacks. But for some of those that have top tier tight ends, like Jay just said, man, you can start 2, 3 tight ends if you like.
Absolutely.
Doesn't happen often, but Bernie does it every once in a while. Chicken Coop, you up next. Don't worry, we ready for you.
Yeah. So let's you know, like I said, we've been doing this draft, this league in particular, since 2015. It started with our initial draft where we run it like a normal fantasy football draft. You know, normally around August, you and the buddies will get around and you'll do a fantasy draft. And we did that as normal. Now, the difference with Dynasty and normal fantasy football is, Dynasty, we keep these players forever. For their foreseeable future, we keep them. So a lot of these guys that we've had, like, for example, Odell Beckham and Mike Evans were one of my first and second round original draft picks of his league. And they're still kicking around in the league. I don't have them on my team per se, but
Mike Evans is still holding value apparently in other leagues. Right?
Apparently in other leagues.
They got Logan, boy.
He's causing an uproar in other leagues. But to paint the picture for you guys, you know, you draft your team, and then you hold these guys for as long as you want for their career. And it's, you know, a 12-man league, just like your other leagues. It's points per reception, so PPR. And, you know, you build your roster the way you want. You know, if you like certain guys, you can trade for these guys, and you hold them forever. So it's very fun, man. If you guys aren't into Dynasty, I recommend you guys find a Dynasty league and get a part of start one with your friends. It's a game changer. We've all been playing, like I said, we started this particular league in 2015, but me, Dino, we've been playing fantasy since, what, 2007?
It's been about 15 years.
Yeah,
about 15 years, I'd have to say, at least.
Yeah.
And we started with regular leagues, you know, and then we started doing what we like to call keeper leagues, where you keep 2, sometimes even 3, sometimes just 1 keepers, you know, for your foreseeable future. But we that wasn't enough for us. We had to jump on to where the big dogs really play, and you know, it becomes a lifelong thing where you become a real coach, a real GM.
Right.
You know, and Dynasty is where it's at.
Yes, sir.
And if you guys, like Jay said, if you guys haven't done it, man, get yourself in a Dynasty league, man. It allows you to understand football year round. Rookies coming in, you know, veterans going out, teams changing. It's the best thing that's happened to football, fantasy football, if you ask me.
Absolutely. It gives you an opportunity to really look at the game from a different perspective. You know, normal fantasy football leagues, you know, you're watching the main star guys, and that's pretty much it. Whereas in Dynasty, you know, you may have a rookie that you drafted in the 3rd round who's the backup, and, you know, you kind of want to see where he progresses in his career, and you know, maybe he gets that shot to start in the NFL, and you're holding these guys. You know, we did a segment a couple weeks ago with Jay Money, where the gems at, and what we were referencing to was the gems, those Dynasty, those players that aren't really stars, that you just want to hold them on the bottom of your roster and watch them.
They look like a star,
right?
You know, they look like a star from far, you know, but like Big J says, sometimes you got to dig them up, and you got to, you know, wipe them off and polish them up, but you know, there's stars in there.
Yes.
There's stars in there all the time.
So,
you find them on the waiver wire, and especially in these rookie drafts.
And what Dynasty allows you to do is hold these guys. You know, you don't have to draft and then the next year you're doing a whole nother draft. You're able to hold these guys. And with our expanded rosters, you know, we run 25, 26 roster spots with some IR there. You know, it allows you to hold guys and watch them grow and mature into the league. You know, because not always you're going to draft a player, or a player's going to get drafted in the NFL and he's going to hit right away. It may take a couple years. So Dynasty allows you.
You gotta be patient,
absolutely.
for sure.
So
Dynasty definitely allows you to work on your patience. You know, and you know, you got to have a good, you know, eye for some talent. You know, sometimes.
So I just got the text from Logan that he's getting ready to pick. So if it's you and you have the one-on-one, I'm sure it's an easy answer. Who would you take right here?
If I gave a Hall like Logan gave, I'm taking Breece Hall, man. He obviously is set on him being a good running back in this league. I mean, how do you feel about Breece Hall? I mean, he's over there with the Jets. You know, he's not in a he's in a timeshare situation. He's not in a workhorse situation just yet.
Right. My initial thoughts on Breece Hall, you know, we did kind of breakdown of the draft and what the Jets were able to do in the draft, taking potentially number one player to every position. Well, Breece Hall was that guy. He came into the league. He came into this 2022 draft as the number one running back in this class, out of Iowa State, 20 years old. He checks all the boxes that you want a stud running back to check. Yep. Guys like Ezekiel Elliott, guys like Jonathan Taylor, these guys that have been in the league, Derrick Henry. These guys have certain benchmarks that they have to check, and he checks all those benchmarks: age, production, size, speed. These are all factors when you're giving up what Logan gave up for this player. These are all factors in what you want out of a running back. And in Dynasty and fantasy football in general, running backs are a dime a dozen, man. There's only 32 starting running backs in the league.
Facts. So
when you have a gem, a diamond, you want to grab them early and ride them off into their career.
Yeah. And let's look at on the flip side. Yep. Let's look at what Baby Sharks did for his team, right? Giving up 101, right?
Yep.
And receiving 3 first-round picks and a second-round pick. You got to like that from a dynasty perspective. He's in a rebuilding position. He actually just he joined our league two seasons ago.
Yes.
So shout out to him for being patient, because he's already starting to transform that team. You don't see it just yet, but when you look down his roster and you see all these picks that he has in the future, his assets are starting to build. So shout out to Baby Sharks. He did it again. He struck, and 3 first-round picks and a second-round pick later, the pick was traded. And I think that's great value.
Absolutely.
Fantastic value.
You mentioned Baby Sharks. He came into the league about 2 seasons ago. And the roster that he came into wasn't, we call it, for lack of better terms, we call it orphan rosters. Whereas another owner had the roster and kind of, didn't handle it well. So we got a new owner to take over this team. It was pretty in shambles, if I was to say. And he's taken a couple years, and he's actually, he's got some pieces now that he can make some moves. And now he had the one-on-one locked in, Breece Hall. But like I said in Dynasty, if you're not first, for me personally, it's me now. This is Body Boy himself. If you're not first, you're last. So maybe Baby Shark looked at his roster and said, you know what? I'm not ready to take on a number one running back just yet. I want to keep building assets, keep getting stronger, and then strike while the iron's hot. I don't think he could have. Maybe he could have potentially moved back in this year's draft, picked up a pick this year, plus some future assets, and then maybe flip that pick to really capitalize on his trade. But for what it's worth, this trade was a game changer for his team for the future. Now,
sure.
23 first and 24 first, so he's got to wait a year or two for it to really prosper. But
once again, I stress the fact that he is being extremely patient with that team. I looked just earlier today. I believe he has 5 first-round picks next year, and I believe 3 or 4 second-round picks as well.
Yeah.
On top of, I think, 3 first-round picks the year after. So he's building. He is definitely building.
Bernard Hicks says Breece Hall situation is another Saquon Barkley situation. Good running back going to a team that's not moving too fast right now.
Bernard.
I think Bernard wants him to leave him there for him.
I think Bernard does pick at the 102. He probably just wants Breece Hall to fall there. I disagree, but also agree in a different sense, and I'll explain. I disagree in the sense of the Jets. These Jets are not the Jets that we all know and have learned to know. This is a different Jets organization. What they were able to do in last year's draft and this year's draft shows me that they're competent in building a franchise. They've addressed the offensive line. I say it all the time. To build a team, you draft the quarterback, protect the quarterback, get after the quarterback. What the Jets have done, they draft last year Zach Wilson in the first round. They get their quarterback. Then they take Vera Tucker from USC, offensive lineman, to protect this quarterback. Okay? They drafted another offensive lineman. So they're doing what they need to do. They have the weapons. They drafted Elijah Moore last year.
Before you move on, your third one, get after the quarterback. And did they do that in the draft this year or not?
They did.
Props to the Jets, following Big J's theories.
Yeah. They getting after the quarterback. They're protecting the quarterback constantly. They're loading up on draft picks, offensive linemen. And, they have the weaponry now. They have Elijah Moore from last year, who they drafted in the second round out of Ole Miss. And then this year they take with the number 10 pick, Garrett Wilson, who we probably talk about here pretty soon.
Yeah, number 2 wide receiver taken off the board this year.
Right.
So they had to have a lot of hopes for him, that's for sure.
Yeah, so things are in place. You got the offensive line in place. The weapons on the outside are in place.
The running game.
The running back, they take Michael Carter last year in the 4th round.
And he was quite productive.
He was productive. He's a little smaller, more of a third down receiving back.
And I think they realized that. And they wanted to, withstand him and put him in a nice timeshare with this big boy Breece Hall.
Breece Hall comes in at 217, runs a 4.39 in the 40. He comes into a situation that's good. But I said I kind of disagree to another point. Breece Hall does scare me in the sense of how the arrow's pointing now at Zach Wilson. Can he sustain an offense? Can he sustain the offense to get to the level to where there's 3rd and shorts instead of 3rd and longs? So Breece Hall can end up getting these first downs and keep drives going. If they're constantly 3 and out or Zach Wilson's throwing interceptions, it's not going to be a great situation. They're not going to be a goal line. You want running backs that are going to be in the goal line. So with that sense, okay, Breece may take a year or two, but talent alone, he's definitely the best running back in this draft. And the situation is growing and getting better for sure.
Yep.
Do we have a pick yet?
Agreed. Logan, 15 minutes is about up. So if you haven't made your pick, go ahead and make that pick for us, boss. Yeah, man. But this draft class is deep. I like this draft class, man.
It's it's come together as the weeks have since the combine heading into the draft. It was a little shady where things were gonna go, but when we got the draft, things kind of shaked out.
The pick is in. Pick is in. Breece Hall taken at 101, just like we presumed.
That's it. Yeah, we're in there. So Breece Hall. I mean, let's paint the picture here for the people out here. Again, I say this is he hate me. He wasn't the worst team in the league. He wasn't the champion either, but he wasn't the worst team. He traded for this pick. So this team is comprised of, Tom Brady at quarterback. I'm just going to go down and name the main guys. Again, Dynasty, you're going to have multiple quarterbacks.
Right.
So he has Tom Brady, Dak Prescott. Those are the ones that stand out to me off rip. Saquon Barkley, another trade that we didn't discuss that he traded for Antonio Gibson, running back from Washington.
He gave up 2 second-round picks next year and a first-round pick the year after in 2024 for Antonio Gibson. Yeah. Another good dynasty trade for both sides.
Right. So Saquon Barkley, Antonio Gibson, Alvin Kamara, Christian McCaffrey, Miles Sanders, Jonathan Taylor, and now you add Breece Hall to the mix. So if you want
going 5 running backs often,
if you want a young core running back, I think there's only one place to go, and that's Logan. Unfortunately, that's a haul, guys.
That's the shop.
That's a tough hill to climb right there.
Hey, but before we go any further, Chicken Coop, looks like you are on the clock, my man.
On the clock,
looks like you got 15 minutes.
Chicken
Starting
Coop.
now. Chicken Coop.
Let's look at it.
Let's look in the coop and see.
Chicken Coop is a character.
See what kind of birds we find in there.
Chicken Coop is a character, folks. We're talking about a guy that's been kicking this fantasy football tire down this road for years now, and
he had mentioned retiring. We're glad he stuck around.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that you just have to have in your leagues, man. You have to have him. We call him Unc.
Yeah, Unc B.
Yeah.
He makes it interesting, man.
He does.
Right?
He does.
And so looking at his team, he's young, in some aspects. He's got Trevor Lawrence as his quarterback. He's got Travis Etienne.
First round pick from last year.
First round pick from last year. So it looks like he's looking to go root for these Jags offense very often this year.
Right.
Rashad Penny, who I can only imagine, looking forward into this draft, he might be able to, snatch Kenneth Walker and, maybe pair him up. But before that, he's also got Christian Kirk, Rondell Moore, some nice young talent. Christian Kirk has got the bag, so he's got a nice hookup with Trevor Lawrence over there in Jacksonville.
Absolutely.
So looking down Coop's roster, what does he need most?
I approach the situation as I approach the situation and Chicken Coop's in a very good spot. He can go honestly in multiple ways. Yes, I think the favorite pick for Chicken Coop is probably going to be Kenneth Walker, running back for the Seattle Seahawks. But at the same time, we're talking dynasty, right?
Right.
We're talking long term. And for me personally, running backs, we're talking potentially 5 years. 5-year window where you're really going to get the most production out of your running backs.
Right.
So within those 5 years, Chicken Coop's going to be looking to get a championship. Could it happen? Absolutely. But at the same time, we're talking about value now. Wide receivers hold their value a little bit longer. So when you can get a number 1 wide receiver, you know, like I said, when we originally did this draft, my first and second round pick were Odell Beckham and Mike Evans, and they're still relevant in the league. In that same draft, Eddie Lacy was taken in the first round. Guys like Todd Gurley were taken.
Like 8,000 cheeseburgers
Right.
away from a job.
So Eddie Lacy, Todd Gurley, Le'Veon Bell were taken in that same draft. They're out of the league.
It's very true.
So when I say wide receivers' shelf life is a lot longer,
Absolutely.
they'll give you more valuable for
They
sustained.
don't get beat up as much, you know.
Exactly.
It's just football in general, man. So looking at Bernie's team, I mean, obviously he could use a running back, right? But I think Drake London is a good pick for him here if he were to go, you know, wide receiver and try to withstand this team a little longer. But
He does have Rashad Penny, so him going Kenneth Walker kind of makes sense at the same time. But again, is your team ready to compete now? Maybe, maybe not. Who knows?
His best bet is to trade back.
I'm always a fan of trading back. Always a fan of trading back.
So you're in chicken coop spot right now with the 102. What are some options you might consider?
Like I said, the first option will be Kenneth Walker. Just take the running back. Like I said, they come a dime a dozen, but you really gonna have to look at yourself and your team in the mirror.
I'm sorry, Big J. I meant trade back options. What are some trade back options he could look into?
One or two ways. You know, you either pick up an asset in this round, in this draft. So you trade in the 102 this year, and let's say you fall back to the 106.
Right.
And you pick up 2023. You pick up a 2023 first round pick. So you turn 1 first round pick into 2 first round picks. That could be an option for him. If you know, I just do 106 out there, but
right. Or maybe if he looks down another team's roster and he sees a nice talent that he might want to trade the 1.24 and get like a 106 and a receiver. Right. And maybe add up on his assets, right? That's always a great option.
It's at the same time, yes. For example, I got a perfect example actually. We do multiple leagues. This is the one of the original OG leagues, but we do other leagues. And actually, the 102 was traded in another league that we were both drafting in. Kenneth Walker was the 102 pick, but he was traded for 2 first-round picks. So that's another option for Chicken Coop is trade for 2 first-round picks, straight up, just lose the pick altogether, pick up future assets. Right. But that's one of those situations where you're going to have to look your team in the mirror and say, you know what, guys, we're not ready right now. If you're not first, you're last. Let's rebuild for the future. That's what Dynasty does, man. It gives you that option that you don't have to play for this year. Yeah, I know it sucks, pocketing that $100 and wiping the team the year away, but at the same time, we're talking Dynasty, we're talking long term.
Right, exactly.
Your goal should be always to build a powerhouse for the years to come. Right. So, Uncle B, man, Bernie, you on the clock, man. The choice is yours because somebody's sitting at 103, and he's just waiting to pick.
Is Big Body Boy waiting to see who's left on the board? Is that what's going on right now?
I'm waiting. I'll be transparent. I'm prepared for Kenneth Walker not to be there. I'm prepared for that. So we'll see. We'll see what Chicken Coop does. And we'll go from there. But again,
this is interesting. I'm getting offers here for the 106 since we
So guys, it's going to be fluid. This draft is very fluid. Trades going to be in and out. People are going to be moving up, moving back, trading out altogether. This is a very active, very fun league. Like I said, we've all been playing together since 2015. This is what we do. This is what we love. We talk fantasy all day, every day at work. It's never ending. Normally people talk about the fantasy football season, and after the season's over, it's done. Well, for us, it's never ending. There's always something to talk about. There's always something to get better at.
I mean, there's no off season for us. So when they take an off season, there's still constantly rookies coming into the league.
And the pick is in.
Training camps.
Where'd he go?
Where'd he go?
Pick is in. Chicken Coop takes Kenneth Walker.
Wow, we saw that coming, huh?
Running back for the Seattle Seahawks.
And matches him up with Rashad Penny. So, I mean, great pick for Chicken Coop, I think. Second best running back, supposed to be the second best running back in this draft. in a great situation where they're rebuilding in Seattle.
Right.
And I mean, to be honest with you, with with them moving on from Russell Wilson, I honestly think they're going to be pounding the rock. They drafted a couple offensive linemen. They've got double running backs now with Rashard Penny and Kenneth Walker. I think they're going to be running the ball a lot this year. So, I mean, for Coop, congrats to you. You got Seattle's attack right now.
Going into this draft, going into the offseason, the knock on Kenneth Walker was his pass catching ability.
Yep.
He didn't do it too much at Michigan State, but he was the Doak Walker Award winner, so the #1 running back in the nation. Great runner, hard-nosed runner. He's believe it or not, he's a Seattle Seahawks style runner. Marshawn Lynch, those kind of guys. Chris Carson. He's a hard-nosed, downfield, has some wiggle, some juice. Again, but it's the pass catching ability and like Dino mentioned, the team. Like, where's the team? Right now we're looking at Drew Lock and Geno Smith at quarterback.
Question marks everywhere.
The weapons on the outside are there. The offensive line is being addressed. Charles Cross, the offensive tackle, was taken this year.
They're rebuilding. They're rebuilding, to say the least.
You get Kenneth Walker, and now I just got the report today that Travis Etienne has been cleared for full activity going into the offseason.
Very nice.
So Travis Etienne and Kenneth Walker, his 1-2 punch at running back isn't bad.
It's not. And to be honest with you, with Drew Lock maybe looking to dump it off short, and Kenneth Walker, not being known for his pass catching, Rashard Penny could still probably be a nice flex play for Bernard.
Absolutely.
On some weeks. So why not?
He is the handcuff guy.
Right.
He's known for his handcuffs. He's known for what handcuffs is you have a running back, and you also have the running back that's behind that running back on the depth chart. So if this running back gets hurt, you still have a starting running back.
Well, Bernie, CHICKENCOOP, what he likes to do is just go after the handcuffs. So yeah, he is the handcuff guy, man. So the '2 pick is in. So we might as well go ahead and start this clock for the big body boy, picking at 1.03.
Yeah.
1.03. Looks like he's gonna be fielding some trade offers right about now. So you guys get him in.
Come on.
This big body boy pause be looking here at this 103 pick, man?
Come on, guys. Again, we talked about similar to the he hate me situation. I wasn't the. Actually, I was. I'm a 2-time champion in this league. I've won this championship twice. Last year, I made a decision. Again, like I said, I started the show with this, and this is the reason why, because I want to explain it now. I started this last season saying, if you're not first, you're last. I looked at my roster. I had guys like Ezekiel Elliott, again, Mike Evans, Odell Beckham Jr., these guys that rode me to 2 championships. And I looked at my roster and I said, you know what? I had enough of these guys. They did what they needed to do. They got me 2 championships. It's time for something new. So I looked at my roster and I said, you know what? I'm just going to blow it up and do a rebuild, similar to what we've seen in the NBA with certain teams, Orlando Magic, for a reason, for example. I decided to do a rebuild because I wanted to get younger. I wanted to get more. What happened? Okay. I wanted to get younger, and I traded, assets, Ezekiel Elliott, for example, to get me these picks. So I have the 103 this year, which was my pick because my team was bad, but by choice. I can go in any way. I built my team in the position that I can be flexible. I can take best player available. I have guys on my roster right now, like the likes of Javonte Williams, we talk about very often from last year.
Oh, yeah.
He was a first-round pick I took last year, young running back. We'll see what the situation looks like with Melvin Gordon coming back. Javonte Williams is one of my star running backs. I also have a guy who I traded for last season, J.K. Dobbins, running back for the Baltimore Ravens. Coming off the ACL tear, we'll see what his situation looks like. And he was a second-round pick 2 years ago. And he's going to walk into a situation where they really didn't address the position.
Right.
They took Tyler Beatty in the 5th round, something like that. So he's giving me those are 2 young stud running backs, potentially young stud running backs that I can lean my team on. But at the wide receiver position, I'm in a little bit better situation. I have guys like Devontae Smith, the hometown, Philadelphia Eagle. Devontae Smith, guys like Michael Pittman, a young, big body stud wide receiver with the Colts. Rashad Bateman is a guy who drafted last year as well.
Looking for him to have a big year.
Yeah, Rashad Bateman's another guy. So I built my team in a way that I don't have to, really take a set position. I could just be more fluid. I also have multiple picks in this first round. So when I'm looking at the board, I'm looking at my roster. Right now, like we did on the draft pre-show, right now is when these wide receivers are screaming at you.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We saw those 2 first running backs go off like we did in the mock drafts, or in the in the Dynasty rookie draft that we did a couple weeks ago. And now this is where, like you said, the Drake Londons, the Trey Burks, the Chris Olaves, the Jameson Williams,
Garrett
Wilsons,
all in the conversation.
Exactly, and it really is pick your poison.
Pick your poison.
What situation do you like the best? Which one is screaming at you the most?
I'm looking at the board. All these guys are available. London, Burks, Wilson, Williams, Olave. It's really hard to really pick one guy. I like them all. I like them all for different reasons. I don't like, there's things that I don't like about them. But there's one guy in particular who, again, going back to the Breece Hall situation, he checks a lot of boxes.
Yeah.
Big, athletic. We'll see. To me on tape, he looks athletic. But he's a tall wide receiver. Early breakout, 18 years old. He came into college breaking out alongside other NFL talent like Amon-Ra St. Brown and Michael Pittman. In other leagues we've done, he's been the 103 across the board.
Yep. See that changing here, guys?
I don't see it changing here.
Bernard Hicks asked, can you use the same method of drafting in a redraft league as you do in Dynasty League?
Absolutely not. I mean, because you're going to have to redraft your entire team in a redraft league. So a lot of these rookies aren't going to be your number 1 and 2 picks overall.
Right.
Obviously, you're going to take a lot of these other guys you're more confident in that you've seen already do it. But they do find themselves going in 4th, 5th, 6th round sometimes in redraft leagues. So yeah, not exactly.
I wouldn't be mad if somebody took Breece Hall at the end of the first round in a normal
redraft
league. Redraft, you want to build for that year and that year only. Dynasty, you can build it multiple ways. You can build for the long haul and take all young guys.
Well, maybe is that what he's talking about? Is he saying maybe a redraft for a Dynasty league?
Right, that's what I'm saying. I'm assuming. I'm addressing both. I'm addressing the talent. Breece Hall, end of the first, second round pick. Kenneth Walker, end of the middle of the second, is probably what he's a starting running back. So they're going to be getting bumped up. But in the Dynasty sense, you can draft for the championship. I've seen it done all the time. You draft for the championship. You're taking 27, 28-year-old guys, or I've seen it the other way where you're only taking guys that are under 25 years old.
Right.
So I'm going to make my pick right now.
Uh-oh.
The Body Boy is on the clock right now.
Body Boy 1.03 pick.
1.03 it's kind of game theory here because I have the 103, but I also have the 105, so there's a pick in between. There's some guys that I do like. There's 2 guys that I do like, but we'll see what happens after I make this pick.
See this toss-up. I'm waiting.
So with the 103, I'm going to take Atlanta Falcons wide receiver, 6'4", 220 pounds, stud in the making, Drake London. Come on over, and let's do this thing again, baby.
Very good pick, man. Very good pick.
I'm happy about that.
Very good pick, big body boy.
So now we got Drake London, Devontae Smith, Michael Pittman, Rashad Bateman.
Some young talent over
I
there.
got Calvin Ridley, maybe 2023, 2024. We'll see what happens with him. I'm trying to build young core wide receivers.
Both Atlanta guys there, huh? Well, if he stays with Atlanta.
So, again, like we said in the past, he's walking into 100-plus targets easily.
Right.
Nobody, they bring over Brian Edwards from Las Vegas. They have Auden Tate. They have Kyle Pitts as well, but Marcus Mariota is a quarterback. They also draft Desmond Ridder in the third round, I forget. So we'll see. I'm looking for the quarterback situation to be upgraded. Matt Ryan's out of there, but a young 21-year-old wide receiver walking into 100 targets.
Can't be mad at it.
Sign me up every day.
Sign me up.
Thank you, guys.
Congrats on your pick.
Thank you.
All right, so number 4 pick, Baby Sharks. You gave up the number 1 pick to He Hate Me.
Yep.
But you know what? You held on to that number 4 pick, and you are on the clock, my man. Pick 104. Baby Sharks is on the clock. We've discussed his team a little bit. So he, if he doesn't trade back here, where's he looking?
Again, it's this wide receiver run. You build through the wide receiver position, and then you add the running backs later. That's my philosophy. Build through the wide receivers. He has young wide receivers on his roster.
He does. He's got.
Yeah, let's go through this roster. Young guys. Again, this team had the one-on-one. Traded out. Again, he's
building capital. He's a rebuilding franchise.
Exactly, rebuilding capital, making the team look the way he wants it to look. Because then he walked into a situation that wasn't his, and he had to clean house. You walk into a dirty house, you're going to want to clean it up the way you know how.
So he starts off right now. He's looking at the quarterback situation.
Yep.
It looks good. Honestly, I like his quarterback situation. He's got Deshaun Watson.
Oh, yeah.
So, obviously in a rebuilding franchise, he's not playing for this year, so he's not even worried about the allegations or any of the situations with Deshaun Watson right now.
Yeah.
He's also got Trey Lance behind him. Love that. Love that. I bet you Money loves that too. By the way, my man Money, he will be here joining us shortly. He's got some later picks. I think he's got, 7, 9, and 10 as of right now. So Money will be joining us later, giving us his insight on some of these draft picks, some of these young talent. But back to Baby Sharks, he's also got Kirk Cousins, which he may use as a piece later on the move. But for a rebuilding franchise, he's got a nice Elijah Mitchell, nice running back over in San Fran. And then he's got, some young guys, Hunter Renfrow, Kyle Pitts is his tight end, actually. We just mentioned him. Robert Tonyan, when he comes back, he may be one of Aaron Rodgers' top targets again. So rebuilding franchise.
Absolutely.
It looks like he's got the quarterback situation under control, maybe the tight end situation. But outside of that, he's looking for assets, right?
Looking for assets, looking for youth, looking for potential. We talked about Kyle Pitts, young, stud, 22-year-old tight end out of Florida with the Atlanta Falcons. He took in last year's draft. He's got he can do this. He can build it any way he wants.
Right.
If it's me, if the trade out option isn't there, I'm sticking. I'm picking. I like that. It's a shirt. I'm sticking. I'm picking. Really, it's up to him. It's up to him because I'm picking behind him. So I'm not gonna pick. I'm not gonna say who I'm picking.
Yeah, of course.
But
but let's talk about some of these wide receivers. You know what I'm saying? Because it's probably where he's gonna go unless something crazy happens, right? He's got the options of a Trey Burks or over in Tennessee.
I got a question. Because a little birdie has told me. I said, I got my. I'm into all the gossip that's going around the league. Little birdie has told me that he loves Garrett Wilson.
Okay.
Wide receiver for the New York Jets. Now, my question to you is, you love Garrett Wilson. You're a Baby Shark. Put the hat on. You like Garrett Wilson, but
take this one off and put, Baby Shark.
But at the same time, you also have Elijah Mitchell on your roster. Not Elijah Mitchell. You also have Elijah Moore on your roster.
Elijah Moore.
So you love Garrett Wilson, but you have Elijah Moore, both wide receivers for the New York Jets. How do you approach that situation? Do you just take the guy because you love him, you think he's going to be a stud, and hopefully you're able to maybe flip or move Elijah Moore later? Or do you not take him because you have Elijah Moore?
I mean, he drafted Elijah Moore last year.
Right.
And as far as I've talked to Baby Sharks, he's got good confidence in him. Actually, Elijah, he told me specifically, going into this draft, there was, a specific person he liked. I won't name that. But he did tell me that last year, his specific guy that he liked was Elijah Moore.
Right.
So, I personally, it's hard for me to believe that him being so high on him last year and then him hitting, right?
Yep.
I refuse to believe he's lost any faith in Elijah Moore.
But at the same time, the team turns around and uses a top 10 draft pick on another wide receiver.
Correct. It's tough, man. It's tough. I mean, I personally know he still has faith in Elijah Moore, so it's going to be interesting to me to see if he does go with Garrett Wilson here at the number 4 pick. But that's one of the options. We were just mentioning them. Between Treylon Burks and Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson is obviously another one of the options that he has to go with. So, am I taking Garrett Wilson here if I'm him? I don't think so, man. I don't think so. I don't know if I want to go all in on that Jets wide receiving core. So maybe another option.
Unless a trade's in the works and you got somebody that isn't. I mean, I do like Elijah Moore. I do. I do like him, but again, I go back to breaking down the Jets situation. Can Zach Wilson sustain 2 wide receivers? You know, we've seen it done in the past. We've seen it done last season with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase.
Right.
We've seen it with CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper. But these are, you know, Joe Burrow, Dak Prescott. These are high-level quarterbacks. It can be done. Is Zach Wilson that guy? Do you believe Zach Wilson's that guy that can sustain these guys?
See him, and if he takes Garrett Wilson, then he, you know, me personally looking at him, I either have to believe there's another trade in the works to get, like you said, move on from Elijah Moore,
right?
Or he has to have high confidence in Zach Wilson at that point in time. Those are the only things that would make sense to me.
Or none of this matters. Garrett Wilson's the pick because he's just the best wide receiver in this class, and you get the best wide receiver, and it doesn't matter what Elijah Moore does. So it really doesn't. It's like you said. It's pick your poison. It's pick your guy. Put your flag down and say, this is my guy. Or you just trade out, like we've seen him do in the past. So
let's take a quick,
interesting.
You know, quick glance at it. He's not in competition this year, right?
Right.
So I think, yeah, you have to go with one of these, you know, stud receivers, because I'm looking at it and saying, is there maybe a running back situation he might turn to here? Because his running back situation is a little weaker, but I don't think so.
No.
Because he's not in that, like you said, he's not fighting for this year.
Right.
So he's building for the future, and I think he's definitely got to be going one of these top-tier receivers right here.
I mean, let's paint the picture. If it's Treylon Burks, you know, Treylon Burks is wide receiver with the Tennessee Titans. A.J. Brown moves on, comes to Philly, and Treylon Burks walks into a situation coming from Arkansas, SEC wide receiver, young wide receiver, big wide receiver, kind of similarly built to A.J. Brown.
Right.
Similar prospects.
It's actually funny. They said coming into the league that Treylon Burks comparison that they compared him most to was A.J. Brown. So, you know, you got to believe they drafted him to try to fulfill that spot.
Right. Maybe not quite the athlete that A.J. Brown was, because we're already seeing videos of him throwing up on the sidelines, or throwing up in rookie camp because he's probably out of shape. Big boy, big wide receiver. He's an option. We talked about Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave. I mean, these are all first-round picks, folks. First-round pick wide receivers. If you trust the process, they don't, you know, they do have a history of missing, but for the most part, first-round picks are going to hit. They're going to have a year where they're going to be in the conversation for a wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 season. And that's all you could really ask for. You know, Treylon Burks could be the option. Chris Olave with a number 11 pick could be the option. Jamison Williams coming off the ACL tear could be the pick. You know, if you mentioned Trent, you know, you mentioned Baby Shark's team is not ready to compete. He's already shown that by trading his first-round pick altogether. So maybe Jamison Williams is the option because he may not be ready for the first half of the season.
And not only that, but, you know, you have to believe that Detroit eventually moves on from Jared Goff. I mean, that's just my personal opinion, but, you know, eventually they bring in a better quarterback for Jamison Williams to catch the ball from. And
next year's class, we should have 3, 4, 5 in the first round.
Exactly. So I could see one of them going to Detroit and you know, putting a little pressure on
Detroit's
Jared
a sneaky situation in
They
Detroit.
do. Actually, Jay Money has mentioned it before. They got a lot of young pieces, and DeAndre Swift in the backfield. You know, they've got Amon-Ra St. Brown, who you've talked up.
DJ Chark.
DJ Chark, exactly. And now they add Jamison Williams. They've also got T.J. Hawkinson. You know, so they've got
Swift.
They've got all the weapons that
everything's
they need.
in place. Oh yeah.
You know, Jared Goff better get it done. If not, they may be looking at another quarterback next year. That's all I got to say. So yeah, I like a lot any of those picks personally for a rebuilding franchise. It's just on which one does Baby Sharks like best, and he's on the clock right now. What's he got? About 5 minutes left. So Baby Sharks, what you got, man? Pick number 4. You got about 5 minutes left.
Yes, sir.
Get that pick in for us, boss man. Make any last-minute trades that you might need to make. So obviously, for Baby Sharks, we've seen him trade the number 1 pick for capital.
Yes.
Right. So obviously, it's always an option to continue trading picks for capital.
Yeah.
What's something he might be looking to do here at 1-4? You know.
It's really gonna take. It takes 2 to tango. It takes 2 to tango. You're gonna have to find somebody that, you know, maybe it's a Jamison, maybe it's a Treylon Burks. Somebody's gonna have to get in front of. Again, 5 and 6 is right here. I pick 5, he picked 6. So maybe it's somebody at the back of the first that says, you know what? I love Garrett Wilson. I love Treylon Burks. I got to get ahead of Big Body Boy. I got to get ahead of JDINO because I want these guys. And I know
and you better.
He's not going to pass these 2 picks. So he's going to have to find a dance partner. He's going to have to find a dance partner. And in this situation in the draft, some people get cold feet. He just gave me the update, said give him 2 minutes. He's going to make his pick. So we got 2 minutes. Again, I've had talks with him in the past. I know he likes Garrett Wilson, but Treylon Burks is there. Chris Olave is there. I mean, maybe he surprises the world and takes Sky Moore or George Pickens. It's an all option. Maybe James Cook. Maybe he likes the running back. It's really, if me and Jay Money were actually talking, and this draft class in particular just feels like if you have a guy, go get your guy. It really doesn't matter. After the first pick, it really doesn't matter. If Chicken Coop's guy was Drake London, he could have took him at 102, and I wouldn't have looked at him sideways at all. At all.
So, or if Logan actually had traded up all of that capital to get Drake London. I mean, obviously
I would have looked at him a little bit sideways. For me personally, outside of the 101.
Hey, we've seen Logan do some crazy stuff before.
Outside of the 101, outside of Breece Hall, all these other guys, Kenneth Walker included, to me personally, are interchangeable. Again, I go back to my example of running backs shelf life, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, maybe pushing it if they're elite. Wide receivers, again, Mike Evans, Odell Beckham, these Devontae Adams. These are all guys that have been in the league since 2014.
Yep.
So, and they're still relevant. So,
very much so.
Wide receivers last a little bit longer than these Todd Gurley's and Le'Veon Bell. I mean, the list goes on. David Johnson. These were all top-tier running backs just a couple years ago.
Oh, pick is in.
Pick is in.
Pick is in. And it looks like he goes with that big boy in Tennessee, Treylon Burks.
Oh, wow.
Very nice pick, my man.
Wow.
Very nice pick.
Wow. That is, that's fun. I like that.
That's fun. He says that's fun. You know why? Because he picks next. So guess what, big body boy?
Yeah.
You on the clock.
Yeah. That one.
Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and take over here and let you think for a second.
Great. But hold on. Let me give you my initial thoughts. Okay. Initial thoughts. Initial thoughts are Treylon Burks was going to be my pick. Treylon Burks was going to be my pick. Why?
Again, a heck of a pick, young man.
Why? Because of the simple fact that we're talking about situations. We just touched on the Garrett Wilson situation, putting all this pressure on, Zach Wilson to produce. Treylon Burks walks into the situation. A.J. Brown's gone. Similar to the Drake London, 100-plus targets coming his way. Yes, it's a run-heavy team. Yes, Ryan Tannehill's not the greatest. Yes, Treylon Burks might be out of shape right now, and he's throwing up on the sidelines. But at the same time, he's a first-round pick. He's right in that sweet spot where we've seen Justin Jefferson go in the past. He could be the Justin Jefferson of this draft class. Not the first or second wide receiver taken, but is going to be the best wide receiver in this draft. And that's just my honest opinion. Young, big, what you want from a wide receiver. Can play on the outside, can play on the inside. They just drafted Malik Willis. Apparently, they are roommates now. They're going to stick together and grow together. So, Baby Shark, salute to you. Great pick. That was going to be my pick at 104 if you did go Garrett Wilson. Now I'm on the clock.
105 is on the clock. You guys get your picks into this. I mean, your trades, offers into this guy. And I'm going to keep on from where he was going, man. Baby Shark's fantastic pick, brother. For a rebuilding franchise, we said it. Go get your guy. He, obviously you've been doing some wheeling and dealing, but obviously you probably had Treylon Burks in the back of your mind this whole time. Great pick. Like he said, he's going to get 100-plus targets. So even though you don't quite need that this year, I think that'll be happening for, years to come. So Treylon Burks, great pick. Putting a little pressure on the big body boy. Constant pressure. That's a shirt. It's already in the works, guys. Constant pressure on that 105 pick right now. So it's going to be interesting to see where he goes. We've talked about some of these wide receivers that are still on the board. So where does the big body boy go? Where?
I'm looking at the board. Just to be transparent, I just put in the group chat. 105 is on the block.
Ooh.
So if anybody wants to trade up, now's the time.
Actually, you said 105 is on the clock.
Oh, it's on the clock?
It's
I meant
on
on the
clock
block.
and on the block.
And on the block. On the block. Pardon me. We'll see if I get, anything. But anyway, great pick. Treylon Burks, wide receiver, Tennessee Titans. I'm on the clock again. Again, this is one of those situations where I traded a lot of studs last year. And I got multiple first-round picks this year. So, also multiple first-round picks next year to set myself up. Let's actually go down the roster. Actually, we did that already. I do have a guy in mind. I was going to take Treylon Burks if he was there. I do have a guy in mind about taking him. I'm very happy to take him. This draft is going to be very fluid. I know who's sitting after me at 6. We have a deal, a potential deal in the works. We've touched on, we've kind of laid a foundation on. Sounds like Greg just chimed in and said, "Sounds like someone who's unsure who to pick." No, I know who I'm going to take. I know who I'm going to take. And matter of fact, I'm going to stop the charade right now. And I'm just going to go get my guy. This is the guy I was very high on in multiple leagues. Very high on him. Learn to... What?
Run some time.
Okay. Learn to love him. Again, I stress that this draft is very fluid. There's really no set, like, you see a guy you like, this guy may go in one league, he may go 103, this guy may go 106, and this guy may go 108.
Right.
Very high potential for that.
I've said it, man. There's obviously Breece Hall is, the number 1 pick. And then you've kind of said that it's kind of fluid from there. But I still think that there's really a top 7. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And honestly, I couldn't be happier to have this 6th pick after him because I'm going to have somebody fall right in my lap. And that's literally how I feel. So there's a top 7. And obviously, you're going to have your choice, after the Treylon Burks. You got your choice of who you like the best, what situation you like the best. And that's where a lot of this happens, man. For a rebuilding franchise like my man Big J. He's in the latter part of his rebuilding because his team's starting to come around, right? But he still has to look at it and say, which guy is best for me for the future?
Right.
Which guy, maybe he's not looking to win this year. So maybe he's looking at a situation like, which guy is better for me for next year?
It's all about dart throws, guys. It's all about getting as many darts. Your goal is to hit that bullseye. If you have one dart, it's going to be really hard to hit that bullseye. But if you have multiple darts, I'm looking at you. If you have multiple darts to pick up multiple assets, you got to take that chance, take that opportunity, because that's why I set myself up. I have 3 first-round picks. So let's say Drake London doesn't hit. I have, whoever I take at 105 to maybe and potentially pop, because all it takes is that one player to pop to make the whole draft. For example, I've had drafts in the past where I've had the 101. I took Ezekiel Elliott. In that same draft, I took Derrick Henry at like the 106. So that was a very profitable draft for me. Reason why I had 2 championships. So it's really these draft picks are very valuable. These draftees are very valuable. Can change the dynamic of your team. We've seen it in this league in particular where draft picks just go flying around. People just trade and wheeling, dealing these draft picks like they don't mean anything, but they do. I always say the draft picks, the rookie draft is the lifeblood of the league. It's really hard in a dynasty when you have 25, 26 roster spots to really find a waiver wire guy. They're very rare, but they do happen. There are waiver wire guys.
We try to encourage a lot of, people in our league in the past that have come in. looking to learn. And then, other guys in other leagues that we've, helped out. We try to encourage them, man. Hold on to those first-round picks.
Right.
Hold on to those assets, unless it's literally somebody that is going to give you production. And that's the direction your team is in right now. Hold on to those assets, guys, man. I mean, because like he said, you could be dying. You could be the worst team in the league, but they will give you a bloodline. They will give you that recharge that your team needs.
Absolutely.
Because they like look at Baby Sharks. He turned 1 first-round pick into 3 first-round picks and a second. And that's exactly what they do.
And he gets Treylon Burks on top of that as well. So now you're building around Treylon Burks, all those first-round picks for the years to come. It's very important.
M21 the boss, catch me up. Who's been taking what pick y'all at?
All right, okay. We actually are at pick number 5 right now, Nelly. That's Nelly. Appreciate you joining us, man. He's obviously been on the JV SportsRoom show before. He's in some of our other dynasty leagues, man. So he's got a good hold of what's going on. It's been Breece Hall going to Logan at 101. Then CHICKENCOOP, he took Kenneth Walker at 102.
Yep.
Big body boy right here in the starting center / Kobe spot himself. Takes Drake London at 103. Great pick. 104. Treylon Burks was taken by Baby Sharks, who's in a rebuilding situation. And right now, my man Big J, big body boy himself, is on the clock. And I think he said he's almost ready to put this...
Time to put pen to paper, baby. Let's do it.
105 pick in.
Let's do it. All right, let's lay the foundation. All right. We talked about this draft class. We talked about these wide receivers. Drake London, to me, was the 101 at the wide receiver position simply because, A, top 10 draft pick. Picked 108 in the NFL draft by the Atlanta Falcons, who has taken guys like Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley, who have been very productive in the NFL. So their GM, their scouts, they know something about drafting wide receivers. Even Russell Gage are guys that are very productive in the league.
Yeah, somebody to look out for in the fantasy landscape.
Absolutely.
Going forward, you moved on, and he's in Tampa now. Yeah. And that's a great landing spot for him.
Yeah. So they know how to draft a wide receiver. At least they know what they look for in wide receivers. So I'm trusting that, along with early breakout at USC with Michael Pittman, with Amon-Ra St. Brown, going into a situation where he's going to have over 100 targets easily. Now, I say that to say this. There was one player in this draft, one wide receiver in particular in this draft, who, if he didn't get injured in the championship game, wide receiver Jameson Williams out of Alabama, if he did not sustain the ACL tear, I could argue that he was going to be the best wide receiver in this draft.
That's not far-fetched at all, boss.
So I take Drake London with my first pick, knowing that I had pick 105, and say, you know what, I'm going to take the guy who was probably the safest because there's no injuries.
Right.
And at 105, it's all about, like I said, as many darts as you can, and sometimes you just got to strap a firecracker to that dart, and hopefully it hits, because if there's any firecracker in this draft at the wide receiver position, to me, is Jameson Williams. So I'm going to take wide receiver Jameson Williams for the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions have picked 32. They traded up from 32 to get all the way to 12 to take Jameson Williams. So he's most definitely in their future plans.
Absolutely.
And they are probably trusting that his ACL situation is
recovered.
Is in a situation where they don't have to worry about it. Because you don't trade from 32 to 12 to take a guy that's injured or not going to be back next season. Now, he may miss the first 6 weeks of the season on the PUP, but at the same time, my team is built for tomorrow. My team is built for the future. So if I can get the wide receiver 1 in this draft class, if it's not Drake London, it's going to be Jameson Williams. If I can get him at 105, sign me up all day. I'm taking Jameson Williams right now, wide receiver, Detroit Lions, with the 105.
Very nice pick.
Lock it in, baby.
Pick, body boy.
Jameson Williams. Wide receiver,
Detroit
Alabama.
Lions.
Detroit Lions out of Alabama. We talked about his year. You know, he did get hurt in the championship game. He was going off in that championship game too. They couldn't stop him. And might have, if he was healthy, might have been a different story for Georgia. Jameson Williams probably could have, put some numbers up. But again, Detroit trades up from 32 to 12 to take him.
Pick is in. I just got.
You got the update,
got
right?
the update. You know why? Because it looks like just Joshin is on the clock, baby.
Just Joshin on the clock. Let me just finish wrapping this bow up. We talked about the ACL. If the ACL doesn't happen, Jameson Williams probably goes a lot higher, probably goes ahead of Drake London in this draft.
I think he's the 103. That's what I was thinking to myself.
Right. You know, we're talking about 4.3 speed. He didn't run at the combine, but you could just watch the tape. The dude is fast. Probably going to be the fastest player on the roster, probably in the league. Dynamite player. Take the top off the defense. You mentioned Jared Goff is still the quarterback. I'm looking for that to change going into next season. Sign me up to Jameson Williams. Honestly, all it takes is for him to pop once, and I'm happy. But, again, like we said, just Joshin's on the clock. 106.
Let me get one more drum roll. Let me get one more drum roll. You know why? Because my guy is still there.
Nice.
My guy is still there.
Nice.
Give me them 15 minutes.
Go ahead, take your 15 minutes. Let's lay the foundation on your team now.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's lay the foundation.
Right, just Joshin, of course. Josh Allen is my starting quarterback. Obviously, we look down the running back core, and Josh Jacobs is on my team too, right? We just Joshin, right? We do also own DK Metcalf and Chris Godwin, Mike Williams, some good receivers. But I'm not gonna lie to you, man. My guy is here. You know what, man? Hold on. Excuse me. You know, please do me a favor.
Go. I got you. I'm gonna take over.
I'm getting trade offers.
Oh, the 106 is looking to be moved. All right. What you got?
Nelly said, "Why you gotta push my buttons with that Kobe corner?"
I knew it. I knew it. That's why I did the little stab mark.
Trent said, "You guys should have a whiteboard in the background with all the picks." And
thanks, Mike.
Benjamin said, "Snagged Williams at 108 in a rookie draft. He's a potential star."
There you go. Who was that?
B. Jammin.
Be
Jamming. Love it. Love
Uh-oh.
the call. That goes perfectly to my point. Is Jameson could fall because people get scared of that ACL. You know, they get scared of that ACL.
Who was at 102?
Kenneth Walker.
CHICKENCOOP.
CHICKENCOOP. Kenneth Walker.
Uh-oh.
And big body boy at 103. You took who?
I took Drake London.
Drake London.
Yep.
And
Treylon Burks. Treylon Burks.
Treylon
went
Burks
number
to
4
Baby Shark. Yep.
to Baby Sharks. And then Big Body Boy took Jameson Williams at 5. Leaving just Joshin exactly where he wanted to be.
So we're looking at the roster, right? Just Joshin. Again, you mentioned Josh Allen. Stud quarterback. Stud quarterback.
Rode me to the championship game last year. Lost in the championship.
Yep.
Semifinals. Looking to get myself back there again.
So you have Josh Allen. Running back situation. You get good news with Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon does re-sign with Denver Broncos. At what capacity, we don't know. It could still potentially be Javonte Williams' season. I'm still waving that flag.
Yeah.
Maybe we see a role reversal where Javonte becomes the one and Melvin Gordon becomes the utility do-it-all. Still holds a little bit of value there with Melvin Gordon. Josh Jacobs is there.
Big fan of Naheem Himes. As Money mentioned, with Matt Ryan being in town.
Absolutely.
Running backs, they get 21% of Matt Ryan's pass plays.
I said it. Matt Ryan is a dink and dunk quarterback at this point in his career. He's not really. He doesn't have the Josh Allen rocket arm.
So a little sneak pick, Naheem Himes, for anybody who.
Yeah, Naheem Himes is a good look. Josh Jacobs, for right now, is the running back 1 in Las Vegas.
And to be honest with you, they did waive his 5th-year option.
Yeah, they didn't pick it up,
which is actually good news for me. I look at it as he's playing for a contract for another team at this point in time.
Potentially, yes.
5th year, there's still very much value in a lot of these and a lot of running backs in their 5th year. So as long as he can stay healthy, have a good season this year, I think he'll definitely be moving on to a nice situation next year. But let me.
Yeah,
so obviously, Big J.
Yeah,
we had something laid out pre-draft.
We did.
That offer is still on the table.
We did.
If you are interested.
Well, to lay the foundation and be transparent for the people, I pick at 108. I pick at the 8th pick in the first round as well. And I came up, earlier today I mentioned to Dino and say, hey, you know, depending on how the board shakes out, there is interest in me moving up to the 106. I'm going to say that right now I'm probably not going to do that for the simple fact, and I'll be transparent because the draft played out. My goal in this draft was, you know, to take Drake London, hoping Garrett Wilson went 4. I was going to get Treylon Burks at 5, and then trade back up into the number 5 spot. But things didn't happen the way I wanted, so I know we had something in line. If you can, you know, counter it and meet me in the middle, you know, we could potentially make something happen. I mentioned 108 and Gabriel Davis. You know, you mentioned Josh Allen. Gabriel Davis walks into the number 2 spot in that Buffalo offense, behind Stephon Diggs, UCF wide receiver. He had that one crazy 200-yard game last season
in the postseason,
in the playoffs.
So here's where I'm at.
Still young, by the way.
So here's where I'm at with all of this. I've mentioned many times before that I think it's a top 7, which means to me, the fall off is right at 7. That's the tier. That's the tier. That's the second tier right after Breece Hall. That's in my opinion, right?
Right.
So at this point in time, with being offered Gabriel Davis, a nice young player, and the 108,
right.
It's a nice offer, no doubt about it, but it takes me off that tier that I was trying to stay on.
Right.
And unfortunately, unless we're not kicking back like a 2-3, which Big J also has later on in this draft, it's probably going to be tough to make this move.
Yeah, no,
for my team that's competing this year.
Yeah, I understand. I looked at it, and it doesn't make sense for me to move up 2 picks and give up all that capital. To be honest with you, I look at the roster, and what I did was I looked at the draft pick situation. I said, you know, I mentioned the darts. I mentioned the dart throws, and have as many as you can. I looked and I said, man, he only has 1 pick. You have the 106, and that's pretty much it for this year. So that's why I came to you and said, you know what, I have 3 picks in the first round. I have a pick in the second, early second. I have 2 picks in the third round, plus picks next year as well. So I wanted to, you know, maybe 2 birds, 1 stone. Me move up, you get assets or whatever. But at the same time, I you know, what I said earlier is very true. Like, the draft board didn't go the way I was hoping it would go. So right now, me moving up to 106 really doesn't do anything for me. I agree with your top 7 situation, but at the same time, it really is, and it's very fluid even throughout the second part of this first round. It's really pick your poison. You know, maybe somebody like Sky Moore or Christian Watson more than Chris Olave. I wouldn't be mad if they take him at 107.
Right.
So I know we're getting close to making a pick or trading out altogether.
Yep, I'm just waiting on I've got a couple counter offers out there.
Absolutely.
Waiting on to see what they might have done.
I'm going to continue going down this roster. You do have Robert Woods coming off the ACL tear. A new situation in Tennessee.
Which I do actually kind of like, because they've just mentioned recently that he's looking like he should be ready for the season.
Okay, yeah.
So they're actually saying, obviously, they don't quite, you can't depend on a rookie from the beginning. So they're saying as of right now, Robert Woods is their number 1 in Tennessee.
He's been very productive his career. Again, USC wide receiver, Robert Woods. That goes to show that, you know, they don't miss. You know, going back to my Drake London pick, USC wide receivers don't miss. They may not be stars, but they're going to be very productive in the league. Cedric Wilson moves on from Dallas and heads up to that Miami situation. At first, it was looking pretty good, but now it's kind of cloudy with the addition of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle's resurgence last year. DK Metcalf is there. You know, we'll see with the with the Drew Lock situation. Another player I do like, and I am interested in on your team and his value going forward is Alan Lazard, wide receiver, potentially wide receiver 1 for the Green Bay Packers.
I'm actually very excited about him.
Jarvis Landry, my bad. Too many Joshes.
Who finds himself in a nice situation with his hometown Saints now.
Going back home to New Orleans. We'll see what the Mike Thomas situation is. Rumors are coming out that it's not looking good You know, he's a little older wide receiver, so these little ninky injuries take a little bit longer to heal.
Taking long, man.
So, what are we looking like?
I've got a couple offers out there. Looks like I got about 4.5 minutes still on this clock.
Okay,
so
take your time. Take your time.
Looks like
let's
we
go back.
may be getting joined by J Money any second now as well.
Love it. Definitely get his breakdown of the first round so far. So, you know, I know you got a lot on your plate right now. So as far as the draft up to this point, you're on the clock. As far as the draft, you said you have a guy on the board that's still there. But as far as the draft and how it's laid out, give me your thoughts, your opinions on how it laid out, where these guys went.
It's gone almost exactly how I envisioned.
Okay.
Hence the fact that the guy that I was targeting is still there, which is great for me. You had me a little on the fence about where you were going to go at 5, but you know, once that played out, I mean, my guy is still there. Waiting. Let me see what we got here. Yep.
Again, the James. Just to really nail the nail on the head. Going back to the pick 105, Jameson Williams. You know, B. came on the chat and mentioned. Let's not forget this guy played at Ohio State. He played.
Well, I will tell you, I like one of the Ohio State boys here.
I know that. That's why I'm bringing this up. That's exactly why I'm bringing this up. He played at Ohio State. He signed with Ohio State alongside mentioned names that we'll probably be touching on here very, very soon. Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson. And he was with Ohio State and looked at the situation and said, man, I got to play along these two guys. Let me get out of here. So instead of going to what the normal route is maybe go to a smaller school or whatnot, he goes to the big dog in Alabama.
Yep.
And, man, I mean, he puts up a monster year. We're talking in 15 games, he had 79 catches, over 1,500 yards, and 20 not 20 touchdowns. Why don't I have the touchdowns on here? Anyway, he had a crazy year at age 20. He's a little bit older, super fast, super explosive. Again, Detroit Lions move up from 32 to 12. They love him. Anyway, I gave you enough time, sir. It's time to make a pick.
Jammin said, Josh, who are your wide receivers?
Wide receivers, we got DK Metcalf, Chris Godwin.
Chris Godwin, before we go, Chris Godwin did tear his ACL very late in the season, so there's a potential that Chris Godwin doesn't come back until their bye week,
right?
Which is like late.
Yeah, about 6-8 weeks. They're looking for him to miss.
That's
perfect timing for me to make a playoff run, guys. Robert Woods, who should be starting the season. Mike Williams. I do have Alan Lazard, which he mentioned earlier. So you know, there's this
tight end positions is very promising with Noah Fant going to Seattle, and now the guy.
Say his name one more time.
Let's see if I can do it. Albert Okwuegbunam. That's the pronunciation. I'm
Albert
going
O over
Albert
in
O in Denver. They did draft a tight end this year, and so we'll see if they like him. They didn't draft him high enough to the point where you don't like Albert. I still like Albert. I have him in the league.
Minute and 30 seconds. You guys, you hit accept on these counters, or else I'm making this pick.
Ooh, the pick is out there. Somebody come get it, man. There's still some talent.
You got both. I got a minute and 30 seconds before I hit submit.
You got both Ohio State boys. I mean, Chris Olave, the steady Eddie of this draft. You're talking about a guy that's not going to let you down. To me personally, highest floor in this draft class is Chris Olave. He's not going to let you down. He's going to be productive in the league. The ceiling, on the other hand, Garrett Wilson has the ceiling. Garrett Wilson gives me, you know, if all things pan out and Zach Wilson is able to make Garrett Wilson the star, he has the opportunity to be a Jamar Chase level player. He has that ability. His receiving skills, his jump ball is top tier in this class. Chris Olave, on the other hand, he reminds me more of a Amari Cooper style, where he's not going to be your one, but he's not going to let you down. He's going to have very, very productive seasons. Amari Cooper was a wide receiver one, but he's not super flashy. He just does it with the route running savant, and Chris Olave. Right now, those are the two guys that I'm looking at, two Ohio State boys. Pick your poison. Do you want the high upside, high ceiling with Garrett Wilson? Do you want the high floor, not going to let you down, but maybe won't be a super duper star in Chris Olave? given your wide receiver situation, Chris Olave could be the pick because you know you're going to be able to count on him in New Orleans with Jameis Winston, potentially news with Drew Brees coming back. Rumors out there that he's potentially considering returning. So what's the pick looking like, Dino? What we looking like?
All right.
Is the pick in or is the pick gone?
Pick is about to be in, sir.
Ooh, okay, pick is in.
All right.
I tried. I said 108 and Gabe, and he said no. I'm sorry. I'm getting.
You ready to
I'm getting feedback from other people. Say, yo, throw him Gabe in 108, and I said I'd try, but he wanted me to throw 203, but it's too late now.
You got a 3-1 you want to throw in there? Before I hit submit. Yeah, a draft day trade. I mean, I'm just talking it right now. It could be.
I'm good.
On paper.
I'm good. I like both these guys on the board, but again, I go back to what I was saying. If the board went the way I thought it was going to go, which I was hoping it was going to go, I would be looking at a different wide receiver with this pick, and it didn't go the way I wanted. I don't have any. I don't have any Jameis Williamson shares, so I wanted to get one.
Right.
I wanted to get one share, James.
There we go. And
But yes, I was very interested in moving up. I was very interested in moving up.
Jammin said, take Gabe in the 108, damn it.
I see. I try to tell him. I thought it was a good offer. You get Gabe and the 108. You're still picking this draft, and you get another young asset.
At the end of the day, if Chris Olave, the guy I just chose with my number 106 pick, is the guy you wanted, the offer is still available, sir. Chris
Olave's
Olave,
the pick.
number 106.
Again?
To just Joshin. Welcome, my man. Welcome to the team.
I love it.
Personally, you mentioned Amari Cooper, but I like his athleticism a little more. He gives me Odell Beckham vibes.
Okay.
So
that.
Chris Olave, welcome to the team. Obviously, he's going to be over there with Jarvis Landry.
Yep.
So, maybe they'll have that Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry chemistry that they had, So, hey, welcome to the team, young man.
I mentioned, by the way, that's where I had my head going, thinking that's where you were going to go. Going back to the steady Eddie production. You say Odell Beckham. I like that. I didn't see the explosion after the catch like Odell gives you, but not to say it can't happen. I do like Olave. I have him in another league. But going back to my Jameson Williams, what happened?
Oh, Baby Shark apparently accepted my trade.
Oh.
He accepted my trade last minute before I made my pick.
Last minute
So
trade.
it gave him Chris Olave.
Is that who he's going to go with?
No, it wasn't. So we've got to just rewind that pick.
Okay. Hold the phone, folks. Hold the phone.
Hold. We're working on it, sir. We didn't realize that you accepted the trade right before the pick was submitted.
You guys know how to push the push the envelope.
All right, bud. We're getting it reversed back now, sir.
To lay the foundation for the people, I am the commissioner of this said league.
Right, of course.
And I'm going to
We're working on it, sir.
do my commissioner
We'll
duties.
be on the clock in just a second. Please tune in.
I'm going to try my best to do my commission duties. I haven't done this, haven't had to do this before, so we're going to.
All right, so Baby Sharks actually accepted my trade offer, and I don't have Chris Olave.
Oh!
Was definitely a big fan of his, but I went ahead and went with what my team needed more, and I went with Jay Money's, a running back from Jay Money's team. Elijah Mitchell was traded to me for the 106 straight up. So I'm going with a 24-year-old running back who is the starting running back over there as of right now. Elijah Mitchell as my second running back. And we're going to move on from that 106 pick, and we're going to put Mr. Baby Sharks on the clock for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Going to give him his 15 minutes. You're on just a second, sir. And good deal, my man. Elijah Mitchell, welcome to the team. Stud running back, baby. Let's go.
Well, give me 1 second, guys. I just have to get my commissioner hat, put my commissioner hat on, and do some moving and grooving here. Let me see. I've never had to do this before. I think we're good. Let me know Let me know on your
Baby
end.
Sharks, he's good. Yeah, Baby Sharks, you are on the clock, my man.
New fresh 15.
Fresh 15.
Can we double check and make sure we're good?
I'm
and
working
make sure
on it.
Olave is
Let me see.
still available.
Let me see what we got. Make sure just Joshin. Just Joshin has Elijah Mitchell. and Chris Olave is still available.
Still available?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we're good.
Welcome to the team, Elijah Mitchell. Starting running back for the San Francisco 49ers. We're going to pair him up next to Josh Jacobs.
Now,
and we're going to look for this run this year. We're
Go
trying
ahead.
to get back to that championship.
all right, so like I mentioned, Baby Shark was very interested in Garrett Wilson. I told you guys that. So now we know possibly where he's going to go. He just traded up. So now we're going to go and look at you. My question to you is, Elijah Mitchell, you kind of just answered it. You're viewing Elijah Mitchell as the bona fide RB1 in San Francisco.
As of right now.
And you're building for right now to load up Josh Jacobs, Elijah Mitchell as your workhorses for the season.
Yes, sir.
Belly said, what else did you get for the pick? Just Mitchell?
Mitchell straight up for the 106.
Mitchell, let us know. Let us know what that was our first trade of the day. So let us know thoughts, opinions. Me personally, just giving just off the cuff evaluation. I think you could have squeezed a little bit more out of the deal. I know time was kind of restricted,
Right, that's exactly
and
what
you're trying to
happened.
host and stuff. I like Elijah Mitchell, but San Francisco situation is very similar to New England. It's that Shanahan effect. Elijah Mitchell was a 7th round draft pick last year. The 3rd round they took Trey Sermon. Elijah Mitchell ends up popping off.
Outproducing.
So what did they end up doing this year? They take Tyrion Davis-Price, running back from LSU, in the 3rd round
again.
Now,
Obviously, they're not hitting on 3rd round picks.
well, and that goes to say that I don't think personally that's going to affect. I mean, we have the specialist coming in right now. Matter of fact, the specialist for the situation, but I don't think the TDP pick, Tyrion Davis-Price, is going to affect Elijah Mitchell. I think it's more so a Trey Sermon effect. But we have the expert on this matter just walked in the building, the El Presidente himself.
Jay Money, welcome to the show.
Money. Big trade. Elijah Mitchell, 106. First of all, before we go, should we just get a rundown of what he thinks?
Yeah, we are officially halfway through this Gentleman's Club first round. And we are looking at Breece Hall that was taken 101 by He Hate Me, Logan. 102 goes to Chicken Coop, Kenneth Walker. Okay. 103, big body boy himself right here in the center. He's in the starting center spot. Let's get him
I'm back
over the center spot.
over, baby.
He takes Drake London. 104 goes to
Treylon Burks.
Treylon Burks. Baby Sharks, who is
Good. Oh, I love that.
Treylon Burks at 105. Jameson Williams at 105.
Yep.
And the number 106 pick was just traded for your boy, the starting running back of the 49ers, Elijah Mitchell, to your boy.
I ain't mad.
Give us the money. Give us the money, man.
I ain't mad at it. Hold
And
on,
as a matter of fact, we're going to give a minute or two to settle in, but Jay Money's on the clock now at 107.
Actually, yeah, good point. Good point.
Did Baby Shark choose?
Oh, he's just no.
Excuse me. Jay Money's next. Baby Shark
He's on
is
deck,
still,
as they say.
Yeah.
the
Baby
baseball
Shark is still working with his pick. He's got about.
y'all forgive me real quick, man. I just jumped in here.
Who said
Let me
that?
get myself set up.
Well, he's the guy that traded.
Yeah, exactly. Good trade, sir. Now who you taking at 10? Now who you?
Oh,
taking
give us some
at
time.
6?
Give us some time. He got time.
He's got 10 minutes. He's got 10 minutes. We
see,
just looked at
here's
it.
what y'all ain't see. It's a trade that just went down.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. What we got?
Me and Baby Shark, man.
Baby Shark making moves, ladies and gentlemen.
You making moves.
Talk to us. What are we looking like?
So, you know what I'm saying? I have this 23 seconds. So, after seeing this deal here, you know, I took the opportunity to send him a little offer. I said, yo, I'll throw your second back next year to move me up one spot.
So you move up to the 107 is what you're saying?
I move up to 106.
So
106.
Jay Money is now at the
on
106.
clock, sir. Let's go.
So hold on, let's paint the picture. Elijah Mitchell goes to
let's go.
JDINO for the
like it.
106. The 106 then goes to J Money for the
107
7 and a second.
And his second round pick back
his
next
second
year.
round pick back next year. Yep.
which obviously should be a nice early second-round pick because
Love
he's in a
it.
rebuilding
Hey, let me tell you
franchise.
something. Let me tell you something about Dynasty too, man. It's nothing better than controlling the power of your pick.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if you see your season going sour, now you have an opportunity. You respect the league. You still start your best lineup. Now don't be on that rah-rah.
Yeah, no, we're definitely gonna make changes to that this year.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But to have the control of your pick is it's a great look.
Absolutely.
Love that
So-
deal. Mike Tran, I love the deal. Love it.
Yeah,
He's
I
still
think,
gonna get a guy that he wants.
yeah, he's still gonna get a guy he's gonna be happy with. I made this move I didn't think this opportunity would be there, so I said, you know what, man, it just kind of played itself out perfectly because I got his second next year. I said,
Right.
yo, let me bless you back with your pick next year.
But
I'm on the clock. But go ahead.
Fresh 15. Give
Let's
us the J Money rundown real quick of the draft. Likes, don't likes, surprises. Give us what you got.
Step off real
Honestly,
quick while J Money runs
honestly,
it down.
Yeah.
And that was a surprise. To see this Elijah Mitchell trade go down, but I liked it because, if y'all seen the show before, you know what I'm saying? Like Elijah, he's done something that no other rookie for the Niners has done since Frank Gore.
Right.
Getting over 1,000 all-purpose yards. Yeah, we know the Shanahan system. He implements a more-two back, go with the high hand, blah, blah, blah. Elijah's our guy. You know what I'm saying? This TDP stuff, I understand. Price out of LSU. People see him get in the third round. They putting a little too much hype on it.
Right.
He's gonna come in and play a part, but Elijah is our dog. You know what I'm saying?
That's a great call.
So I'm not mad at it. He's still young, and one of them players that comes out of a small school that doesn't get a lot of hype coming into the league, but got all the attributes, all the tools to be a 3-down back, which he's shown.
Right.
So
I say I agree. So you are on board with JDINO making this
I'm not mad
this
at
trade.
it. I think it fits a great team need for him as well.
It does fit a need. Running back,
Yeah.
like I mentioned earlier in the show, running backs are a dime a dozen. You got to get them, and when you can get one tied to which should be a great running offense, historically known as a great running offense. And Elijah, what he was able to do last year as a 7th-round pick and perform at the level he did. I like Mitchell again. It's really pick your poison. If Elijah Mitchell was in this draft, you could argue he would be in this range. I mean, knowing what we know now, it's interesting.
He was a 3rd-round rookie draft last year.
He was a 3rd-round rookie draft. So Mike Tran comes up big in that aspect. In that aspect, found a gem, like J Money's known for finding. He found a gem, and what you do is you find a gem, and like I keep saying, I don't know if you guys heard me. All it takes is 1 year. You get 1 year of production, then you could do something like this where you can. Maybe he wasn't all in on Elijah Mitchell. Yes, maybe he wasn't in. Actually, I do know that he wasn't all in on Elijah Mitchell. See the hands? I know he wasn't all in on Elijah Mitchell. So for him to get off of Elijah, to get the pick, and then to also trade, now he you mentioned it, get his 2nd-round pick back, which is huge because now he controls his destiny. But as far as the draft, give me the rundown before you make your selection. Give me some likes, don't likes, anything surprising, anything that how'd the draft go? Did it go according to what because you have picks now. You pick now and you pick a little bit later. So
I think honestly it kind of goes to what you've been seeing in a lot of rookie drafts, especially in the 1-quarterback league. I mean, Brees unquestionable, whether it be a 1 QB league, super flex, tight end, green, all that. He's the 1.01, right?
Absolutely.
You ain't gonna knock him. We've seen Logan. Logan paid a big price for that. You know what I'm saying? But I get it. You look at his team, you look at where he's at. I get it. He's going.
not?
You know what I'm saying? He's going for the chip. But then Kenneth Walker going 2nd. You look at Bernie's team. You see he got Penny. You look at Coop's team. You see he got Penny. It makes a lot of sense. You know what I'm saying? That was the move right there. And I think.
would you have looked at him sideways if he did take a wide receiver?
Yeah, I would. That would have been a dislike. I think that was the call for his team.
Okay.
He needed to take Walker. You know what I'm saying? I just think the value of running backs
There you go.
in a dynasty draft, you gotta grab them, right? They don't come like that. I mean, you can find yourself a little gem later, right? But the surefire pick, when you look at a Brees and you look at a Kenneth Walker in this class right now, I think you got to take him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can't just, it's like back to Corey Davis, which I'm victim of. I took him like 1.2, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Or 1.3.
1.3,
Something
Yeah,
like that, right?
1.2.
It was 2, right? It was 1.2?
Oh no, 1-on-1.
No, hey, nah. It wasn't 1-on-1.
It was
think it was
Leonard
1-on-1.
Fournette, and then you took Corey Davis.
Yeah. So, but so you see what I'm saying? We've been running this league for years, but you know what I mean? Like, you got to take that. Yo, Coop, salute. Great pick, man. I dig it. I respect it.
Yep.
I already knew he's going Drake.
Talk to him. Talk to the people then.
That was your move. I mean, you can't be mad at it.
Can't be mad. I think he had to be
mad
It
at
had to
it.
be Drake.
You know, 18.2 breakout age.
Right.
Youngest of this class.
Right.
Youngest of quite a few classes.
Yep.
Previous classes, you know. I mean, out of USC, you know, they brought us some players that initially, when they first come to the league, we tend to not respect, but they've shown year over year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? These cats actually ball out on the field.
Absolutely.
So, you know, they're doing something right out there at USC. So I'm not mad at that. A lot of opportunity for him in Atlanta.
For sure.
A whole lot. You know, I mean, it's wide open for him. You know, Pitt's got his role play. They brought in a young QB in Ritter. I understand they got Mariota, but it's going to be Ritter's team in due time.
There's really nobody you're scared.
Yeah.
I know they bring Brian Edwards, but there's really nobody you're scared of outside of Pitts.
Yeah, it's really ain't.
You know, Arden Tate, Olamide Zaccheaus.
Yeah.
These are guys to me. I mean, I still have high hopes for Brian Edwards, but these are just guys.
Yeah, I think the truthers of Edwards will always try to figure that out, and I honestly am not mad at him going to ATL.
Right.
You know, I've been an Edwards fan from the jump.
Me too.
Coming at it with
I think I have.
Right? South Carolina.
South Carolina, yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Carolina.
Yes, sir.
So yeah,
Very
you know,
young
I mean,
still, by the way. He's
Very young still.
He's still
you know?
young.
He's
I
younger
think I
than
have
some of
him,
these rookie
actually.
wide receivers.
Absolutely.
So you know,
Especially
you got
Dealers Jones.
Yeah. So those.
I think I have Brian Edwards. Hold on. The league start to mesh together. You kind of forget who you have. I think I have Brian Edwards as well. So we go. Treylon Burks goes 1-0.
Treylon Burks, you know, I got my bouts on him. You know, like as far
Throwing up on the sideline.
Yeah, well, no. Here's the thing. Like, I think you said it best, man, on one of our earlier shows when we first got into the combine.
Right.
And we was talking. You was like, you got that 1 year.
Right.
You know, this is what we're gonna go on.
Right.
We touched before. Like, I get it. I get the opportunity that's in front of him. I get the fact that, you know, he's probably end up going to be like the RB2, RB3 type player in that team with the carries he's going to get. And
short yardage catches,
the jet sweeps,
long
or
runs,
you know, which is a pass, but whatever.
Right.
But you know, they're gonna be trying. They're gonna figure it out with him. But I don't know, man. Like I think being a Niner fan and seeing what Debo has done, you don't see people do that all the time. And for them to like hype and comp him to that, it's like I don't see no Debo comp. You know what I'm saying? Like I just don't. I can't buy it. I can't buy it. If I was at 4. I mean, I'm not mad at the pick. That's what's been going on. But if I was at 4, I probably would have done that. I would have made a different selection at that point, or you traded back.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not mad at it. That's my only knock. I think I got on it, but I get it. It's not like a dislike. I get it.
Yeah.
But I would have done different.
All right.
So,
well, you would have done differently and probably ended up with whoever you're going to take here at 106.
honestly, what
Looks
I'm
like
taking
you got
at
about-
106 is who I would have took at 104, in my opinion.
So it looks like you got about 6 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah.
So you ready to make your pick? Or
I'm ready to make this pick.
Ready to make your
man.
pick,
I think,
alright.
we ran
So
down, I think we ran down through the choices. I mean, I get where you're at. Jameson.
Jameson, talk to me.
Let's touch that one.
Touch Jameson.
Let's touch that one.
Talk to
man.
me.
yeah, we ran through. Didn't get to the pick. We might as
So,
well.
you know, we go back to the 1 year thing, right, on Treylon Burks, right?
Traded it.
So I look at Jameson sometimes, and I think about it. He's had Garrett Wilson and Olave while he was at Ohio State. He did not outperform them at all.
Trade for what?
And
Elijah Mitchell.
granted, he had the 8.2 yards per reception, which I think he only had 7 catches his freshman year.
Right.
Then he had like 9 catches his second year, which went down like 72 yards. So,
Right.
so
Oh,
the
107?
speed, the breakout, like as far as the
Right.
defense,
Traded
it showed
107.
in the small sample size,
Absolutely.
right? But
Oh, okay.
in the sophomore year, who's probably going to be the top wide receiver
Yep.
in dynasty classes next year,
And
Jackson.
Jigba.
yeah, yeah,
Jigba, yep.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? So
He traded the
he
106.
outperformed
for the
him,
107
not very much, but
and
like
the
a catch or something like
2023
that. More.
second.
So the first year, his freshman year was what, 6 catches for 112 yards.
Yeah, but you see the yards per reception, right?
Right.
So that's where you see the breakout.
18.7. Steady Eddie 18.
But that's my knock on him, right? It takes you because it takes you to go to Alabama to really pop off like that,
Right.
and you got these 2 other wide receivers in the cat that's probably going to be the number 1 dynasty wide receiver next year,
Right.
and you ain't done it.
Right. But when he
with
did
them.
it,
When he did it.
he did it.
He did it. Don't
He
get
did
me
it at
wrong.
Alabama.
Don't get me wrong. He did it at Alabama, but a lot of cats have done it at Alabama.
This is true.
have not really.
This is true.
I think we give Alabama,
But first round Alabama wide receivers, barring any off the field FanDuel betting, they hit. Right? Am I right or wrong?
Yeah,
you go down the list. First round. You took one last year. This same spot, pretty much.
Yeah, well, that was a good look.
Jalen Waddle, you know what I mean? So, we've seen him in the past. Jalen Waddle, Jerry Jeudy, Devontae Smith.
Jerry Judy's got his situation.
His situation.
But as far as their
Think about
value to the league, their perspective, what people perceive them to be, they do not miss first round wide receivers from Alabama, especially ones that put up 1,500 yards.
I get it.
And
so now you think about the Judy situation, you think about the Willie situation, you think about the Ruggs situation. It's like you're either going to get somebody that's going to make it, you're going to either get somebody that, unfortunately, you hate to see anybody fall into complications that their career is looking shot.
That's true.
But it's like that's why I'm like, okay, it kind of remind me back in the days where everybody was gun ho on Alabama running backs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Overpaying on the Trent Richardsons and all that other stuff. And the only cat that ever came out back in them days when everybody was going crazy just because they were a running back out of Alabama is the one that had the most solid career. To me, as an Alabama running back outside of Derrick Henry, is Mark Ingram.
Mark Ingram, correct.
Do you know what I'm saying?
He's still relevant. He's still in the league right now, I think.
Yeah, so you know what I'm saying?
But
on just Joshin.
Going back, but going back to what you just said, and I think I preface it before I made the pick is Drake London to me was my safe pick.
I think you had to do that.
Jameson Williams was
your wild card.
I didn't think he was going to do that.
That was your wild card.
I really did.
Jameson was my wild card, my firecracker, my throw the dart. Let's see what happens. It could be boom. It could be bust. He has the highest boom bust potential for me in this.
So to go back before I make this pick, you know what I'm saying? As far as the the dislike, but I understand why somebody would take him there is Burks. The one that kind of really threw me off as far as to get right here was you taking James. I didn't think you was gonna do it right there.
Okay.
And as far as the trade I didn't see coming, I didn't see this one coming here at all.
I didn't see that one coming either.
I dig it. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, look, a team that was in the championship last year, and I'm looking to make it back. I see myself. We were looking at my roster, right? And
you were
I lost in the championship last year.
semifinals. Wasn't the championship?
No, last year lost to
Bling and I thought it was Bling and Forte in the championship. You might be confused.
No, I'm sorry. I lost in the semifinals last year. So third place finish, I believe. So anyway, that close to the finals, that close to the championship, I felt like I was one piece away. Seeing the way Elijah Mitchell ran the ball last year, took over that lead job. 24 years old. I need him on my team to try to make a run. So, yeah, man. So, at this point in time, the 1.06 has been traded twice. First, for Elijah Mitchell. Second, he got traded back, right, to the 107, and he got traded a second-round pick next year. And now my man J Money is on the clock with the 106, about to make his pick.
And the 107 is back on the block, according to a group chat. But anyway, J Money on the clock. Talk to the people. Tell us, let them know. Pick us in. Let's get it.
I mean, to me, I think this team, they drafted for a reason. They've had a receiver who, from the same school, had a great career there. Obviously, y'all cats that's still holding him and trying to get like a first or two firsts for him, y'all need to chill. But Chris Olave, he about to take over.
Beautiful pick, man. Like I said, man, if I didn't make this trade with for Elijah Mitchell, Chris Olave was my pick.
Yeah, y'all let go of Michael Thomas, man.
He's definitely worthy of being the number 6 pick, for sure.
Chris Olave, wide receiver, Ohio State.
I would have took him at 104. Honestly, I liked him that much.
Wow. Yep, I agree. I agree.
Like him that much over. I like him over Jameson. I like him over Burks. But that's just one man's opinion. I'm just saying that's where I'm at.
Believe it, him coming into this college football season, if he would have came out last year, he had the option to. He would have been a first-round pick in the NFL draft. Right. He keeps his value. He is a first-round pick in the NFL draft. Even as a senior, he declined going to the Senior Bowl because he knows his production was there. Like I said before your pick, before you did the trade, is to me, if there's anybody that can look at it in this draft and say this guy's going to be a great NFL player for the years to come, it's Chris Olave. He did it every year at college.
He did it.
Playing alongside Garrett Wilson and like you said, Jameson Williams at the same time. And that's high praise. I like that call. I like the call. I got him in another league, actually really late. So
yeah, honestly, I didn't expect to get a share of him at all in this league. So to me, I feel like you know, throwing Trent his second next year was just like, you know, I think anybody who made that trade, you know, at 1-6, if it was somebody else that had it, maybe that second would have been appealing to that person. But being that it was Trent, and I had that second, I think like, yo, I mean, come on, dog, like it makes sense. Let's do this.
It's his first.
Yeah,
And you didn't.
Yeah, let's do this.
And you didn't want to take. And you didn't want to take the chance of, if all it took was a second round pick, you didn't want to take the chance on, all right, I'll just hold off and see what he does. And then I'll make my pick. So you wanted to lock in your guy.
So what did you do? You go and get your guy, right?
He put his flag down and said, "This is my guy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get him. I'm not gonna mess around." And
no controversy here, man. Obviously, you know I was high on him too. So great pick at 106, and now the 107 is on the clock. Baby Sharks.
And on
back
the
on
block,
the clock
baby.
again.
back on the clock again.
Been on the clock so many times.
And the baby Shark show, man.
Baby Shark do. No, man, he's been on the clock so many times, and he's got one pick so far. Let's see if he picks this time.
But this is what makes Dynasty fantasy football fun: is the wheeling and dealing, the trades, the constant activity. Like normally in the redraft, and you know, we have all been in redraft leagues where there's, you know, once you draft your team, there's really no movement. There's no trades. You know, everybody loves their team. Where in Dynasty, it's a little bit more fluid.
Because you got those little additive pieces that you're able to throw in first round picks and second round picks, things that we call assets, right? You know, you can't go into a regular league and a regular redraft league and say, give me, you know, this person for this person straight up. Very, very often, it has to have those little assets, those little sprinkles on top to actually get the deal done a lot of the time.
So, before we move on any further, I got a question for you. It just popped in my head because you just did something that we haven't seen probably in a long time, where you traded a pick just straight up for one player.
Right.
So with that being said, Elijah Mitchell, you throw him in this draft class.
Right.
He's in the mix.
I think that's exactly about where he would be.
Okay, that was my question.
Right about there.
Who in that range, like who drafted ahead of 106 would you have taken over Elijah Mitchell?
I think the only person that I was considering doing it was Olave, but I looked at my team and my situation, and also the fact that I already have Jarvis Landry on my team as well.
Okay.
Don't want to have that cluster of too many Saints.
Okay.
So, you know, I throw my couple of marbles in on Jarvis Landry as far as the New Orleans Saints receiver, and I go and get the starting running back for the San Francisco 49ers. Like I said, looking at my team, I felt like this is a piece I needed. I felt like I needed a running back, and kind of like these NFL teams in the draft, right? What they did was they missed on the wide receiver run, right? So a couple of them made trades later on in the actual draft to go get a wide receiver, a A.J. Brown, a Marquise Hollywood Brown, right? So that's what Joshin's team did here, right? We had the 106, and the two running backs that I felt like, you know, in this class, that the only two that were ahead of Elijah Mitchell at this point in time would have been Kenneth Walker and Breece Hall. So once those two were off the board, and you know, the market was, you know, still somewhat far away, I felt myself saying, hey, look, Elijah Mitchell, if he was drafted this year, this is about where he'd be, right around this 5-6 range. So I'm happy with what I did, and you guys watch out, man, because I'm ready to make another run.
You say you're going to take all your ducats, son.
Yeah, man. Pick 107. Looks like Baby Shark still has about 10 minutes. So
do we? I know he went in the group chat and said that the pick is available. So do we think he trades it again, or does he finally make a pick?
You know, I gotta give respect to Trent, man. You know, he's building himself a squad that we might not see today, but we're gonna see it in due time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
So I think Baby Shark, man. I'm gonna take the betting line that
he moves the pick. No.
Nah, I think, yo, if you gotta talk money, man. You got, you know, if you want your guy here, you go ahead and get your guy right here.
All right, so
he'll deal with you.
Let me
But
play a little.
if you ain't talking money now, he gonna make his pick. That's what I'm gonna say.
Let me make a little spoiler here. You know, play a spoiler here. You know, because Big J mentioned earlier how, you know, he already has Elijah Moore, right? So I almost feel like there may be something else going on in the works with Baby Sharks right about now, because it looks like the next wide receiver that should be going off this draft board is Garrett Wilson, right?
I mean,
and so does he go and get 2 jets? It's either that. I mean, so he may be moving out of this pick, and if he does make this pick, then I do have a feeling that there's another move in the future coming for Baby Sharks because he may be moving Elijah Moore.
That's why I brought up that exact situation earlier. And I'll address the situation to you, Money.
go ahead, tell them.
You have Elijah Mitchell. I mean,
Elijah Moore.
Elijah Moore. You have Elijah Moore, who
The
you
Elijah
drafted.
show.
Shout out to my nephew Elijah.
Shout out to my son.
You have Elijah Moore. Do you bypass potentially taking a player like Garrett Wilson, who they are on the same team? They're both Jets. Do you bypass taking him because you have Elijah Moore? Or do you just take Garrett Wilson because the talent is undeniable and you'll figure out that situation?
And at the end of the day, he's the next man on the board.
And is there a guy on the board that you would rather have than Garrett Wilson?
Not today.
Man, it goes to the question, right? It depends where you are with your team. I think if I'm in his situation, I take Garrett. I'm gonna let the Jets situation figure itself out, right? Because you at the end of the day, you still got 2 nice wide receivers. You gotta think about what Ole Miss has brought into the league. When it comes to Elijah Moore, and then you think about the A.J. Brown, and you think about DK Metcalf. They've been bringing some cats. You even think about Dawson Knox out there as a tight end in Buffalo, all from the same school. So, but I think at this point you let that situation play itself out. Garrett Wilson has been successful year over year. Going back to him and Olave and what they've done in Ohio State. Even at that time when they both came in there, it was Paris Campbell was in there as well. Yep. And but they still was rocking with the likes of Paris Campbell when Paris Campbell had some buzz in Ohio State. So
right.
It's like I think you take Garrett Wilson, you let that situation play itself out. I mean, it's a good place to be, right?
I mean, and at the end of the day, like we've mentioned a few times now, is that Baby Sharks is in a rebuilding situation, right? So, with there really being like a top 7, Garrett Wilson is still on that top tier, man. He's, like we mentioned before, he was the number 2 wide receiver taken in the NFL draft. To be honest with you, some think he could have gone way earlier in this draft, 4 or 5, or even 6. So he's getting a steal here at 7.
A lot of rankings had him as a top 4 pick.
He's getting a steal here at 7, if you ask me.
I mean it's easy money if you ask me, but I
Baby
get it.
Sharks,
I get it because of that same very reason. A lot of cats are gonna be hungry. So
this is true.
I get the reason why if he trades out. Like I'm not mad. So.
All right, Baby Sharks, we're waiting on you. Looks like you got about 2.5 minutes, my man.
Well, behind Baby Shark is myself at 108, and
What you gonna do?
That's where the draft really starts.
yeah,
What you
I'm
gonna
trying to do 2 birds in one stone. It's tough.
I tell you.
I told you.
I'm trying to negotiate and wheel and deal, and
Decisions.
this is what makes it fun, man. It's what makes it fun. We'll see what he does. He said the pick is on the block.
2 minutes, Baby Sharks. 2 minutes.
He's been very active.
I like what he does so far. I can't be mad
Absolutely,
at
he
him.
just keeps moving and grooving and getting assets, getting picks, and
Yeah. I mean,
Building
it's
the hard
quite obvious that he's not, looking to win a championship this year. So it's one of those situations where almost everybody on his team is on the block. So he's wheeling and dealing for sure. Baby Shark's doing his thing. We've seen in other leagues
think about it,
what he's done, right? He's taken over rebuilding franchise, and he's turned those teams into he hasn't won a championship yet, but he's flipped them around.
Let's look at the full picture of it all. As of right now, he's giving up Elijah Mitchell for his second next year in 1.07. Whether he does not pick at 1.7 or take more capital, it only adds to what he's giving up for Elijah Mitchell, right? So you got to see what he's doing in here when you look at the full picture, the full scope. So you can't be mad at it, but he's talking. He's talking. He's got the right people behind him that's trying to be like, all right, cool. What you want for this move? So can't be mad at him.
Jaden.
oh man, it's his and believe it or not, this is the this is the part of the draft where honestly it becomes it really starts to pop off. Like this is believe it or not, this is the start of the draft right now. Like this is the start.
Yeah,
like
swear.
this is where guys are gonna start going where we don't really perceive. There's no really perception of where guys go from here on out. It could be anywhere. Once
It's one of those go get your guy situations.
yeah, I'm gonna go on the limb and say he takes Garrett Wilson right here. Like I said, I've had conversations with him in the past, and I know he likes him. So I'll be honest with you guys. I'm picking at 108, and
you don't know where to go.
Sky's the limit.
It's so fluid. Sky's the limit.
See, that's the
It's
difference,
so
man.
fluid.
That's the difference, man. We've been in a couple of these drafts as of recent, right? And there's been so many situations where guys have fallen. We've seen Treylon Burks fall to 6. We've seen Jamison Williams fall to 9, I believe, in one league. It's just, it's so fluent, and guys really do go get their guys sometimes. We've seen, some of these later running backs go as early as like number 5. So this is the one league that I completely expected to go as planned, only because this is more of a veteran league.
Yeah.
Veteran, and we do things a little more routine, I guess, if you will, around here.
Right.
There's not a 2-quarterback league like some of our other leagues where Kenny Pickett or somebody like that may go in this top 5. It's not a 2 tight end premium league, which we also have as well, where you may see a Trey McBride go in the first round. You never know, guys. But in this more standard, original league, I expected this. I completely expected this. Outside of, to be honest with you, I think I surprised everybody the most with my Elijah Mitchell trade.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
Outside of that, it's going pretty routine.
It is. It's going to get a little bit. It's going to be a little bit more difficult. It's not going to be as you mentioned it earlier. The top 7 was kind of pretty easy. Just where they fell was was going to differ. But
and really, what teams ended up with them?
Right.
We didn't know what kind of deals were going to go down.
Right after that 7 is where, that's why I said the draft starts now. Now it starts to get a little creative. You got to be creative. Really figure out where your team needs are. Does X player fill that team need? Does Y player do you like them? Is it a running back? Is it a wide receiver? Is it a tight end? Is it a quarterback? Go ahead.
We good?
We lost video, but y'all still on audio.
So we got a little technical difficulty right now with the video, but y'all still hear us. I agree with you, man. At this point, this is where the draft kind of plays itself out. I think scared money don't make money right now, right? So you got to be confident in whatever move you're gonna make. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, let's see what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Baby Shark, you on the clock, man. We interested to see what kind of pick you about to make here. It's your time. Make your move. Whether it's a trade. I got a feeling my boy's in the middle of a conversation right now. I got a feeling we nickel and diamond here. Whoever you talking to, make the move. But yeah. All right, we still see what's good. So I'm about to look at Baby Shark's team here. The amount of draft picks this man's have over the next 2 years is ridiculous. I respect that. Yeah, definitely. So we got, is it Gary Wilson or is it going to be a trade? I think that's the question here. Or does Baby Shark shock us all and do something different?
That's why I was in there working earlier when I gave him mine. So good.
Good. I bet.
Slight intermission, everybody.
Yes, sir.
Focus down.
I didn't see that. Yes, sir.
All right, everybody, we're just going to take a quick halftime break. We officially halfway through the draft at this point in time, waiting on pick number 107 to come in. Waiting on pick number 107 to come in. We're going to give him about another 10 minutes to make his pick. But until then, we're going to leave you guys with a little JV Sports intermission. Give us a second.
right, let's roll it.
All right, welcome everybody back. All right, to the second half of the Gentlemen's Club Dynasty Rookie Draft. We are officially 6 picks in. My man Baby Sharks, he's got just about another 30 seconds left to get his pick in. So we picking or we trading, Baby Sharks?
We picking or we sticking, as they say.
Picking or we sticking?
All right,
No,
so
if you picking, then you sticking. If you picking or you trading?
oh yeah, that's true. This pick is gonna be traded.
This pick is gonna be traded.
This pick is gonna be traded.
Has it been traded yet?
Has it been traded? That's the question.
It's been traded.
What kind of inside source you know? I mean, what's up?
Are you part of this trade? He on some real commissioner.
All right, we just had an NBA style trade just go down in our league. We haven't seen anything like this, at least this year.
Yeah, I gotta see it.
You recall Kobe Bryant, right? Kobe Bryant was drafted by the Charlotte Hornets and was traded in the draft, right, to the Los Angeles Lakers. You recall Penny Hardaway, right? Chris Webber was drafted and then traded to Golden State for Penny Hardaway, right?
Right.
Well, in this draft, Jamison Williams was drafted at the 105, correct? Well, he has just been traded to Baby Shark for the 107. Plus, I move up from the 203 to the 201 in the second round. So
hold on. You said Jamison was you mean?
I drafted and I traded Jamison Williams to Baby Shark.
Okay.
So basically, what Big J's saying is the guy he wanted is still there.
Okay.
Yeah. The guy that I'm interested in, that intrigues me, and I mentioned, I said early in the show, I put this out there. I was like, if you're Baby Shark and you're looking at your team and you have Elijah Moore and you love Elijah Moore, do you draft Garrett Wilson?
I told you no.
And you told me no. So what does Baby Shark do?
He don't draft him either.
He doesn't draft him either. He gives them to me because that's who I'm going to take here at the 107.
I told you he was high on Elijah Moore. I told you he likes Elijah Moore.
So again, just to lay the foundation, I drafted Jamison Williams at 105. Yeah. Okay, I traded the 105 for Garrett Wilson, and the moving up from the second round pick, my third pick in the second round, to the first pick in the second round, where I kind of have a vibe that there's going to be a player that is going to fall out of the first round that I could be potentially move up for.
It's a swap for the 1-5 and 1-7, and then 2-1 and 2-3.
Yeah, and Garrett Wilson is a guy that, again, I say, 105, Jamison Williams was my dart throw. I didn't have a share of him, but that doesn't mean I don't like Garrett Wilson. I'm very interested in Garrett Wilson. He does give me Jamar. He's the Jamar Chase type player of this draft class where he can be a game breaker.
Now you just have to.
It's up to Zach Wilson.
Trust in Zach Wilson.
It's up to Zach Wilson.
But he's a top.
He's a top 10 draft pick. He's young. He's productive. He did it with Chris Olave at Ohio State with Njigba, who we just mentioned, who's going to be a first-round pick next year. So he's proven that he can be productive with multiple pieces around him.
Absolutely.
So I have a question though.
Go ahead.
Why not take him at 1.05?
Because I wasn't 100% on him. I wasn't 100% on him, right? Because of the factors that I said, Zach Wilson and stuff. And I had him in another league. I didn't have any shares of Jamison.
Gotcha.
Right? But I just took Garrett Wilson, wide receiver from the New York Jets.
Yeah. Did it have a lot also to do with where I might go with my pick? You know, because you never saw yourself possibly getting Garrett Wilson at 107, did you?
I was trying to trade up to get Garrett Wilson after the fact that you made the Elijah Mitchell deal, and after the fact you took Chris Olave. I was trying to get up, and then Baby Sharks presented me with the opportunity and said, "Hey, I really wanted Jamison Williams."
Which is perfect for his team.
Right. Absolutely perfect for his team. And then the potential moving up from 203 to 201 right now maybe doesn't seem that big, but once we get to that point in the draft and maybe there's a player outside of the first round that doesn't get taken, now I'm in prime position to strike again, or the 201 is still a valuable pick, so I can potentially trade that pick and gain more assets in the future. So the player comp for comp, Wilson and Williams, not very far off for me personally.
Nah, honestly, I got Wilson over Williams.
There you go.
So I
I'm not
get
mad
him,
at it.
plus I move up.
That's
in the
why I
second
asked the
round.
question. Why not take him at 1.05?
Because he just
Yeah.
finagled it all. Is what he did.
I wanted,
Finessed it, as some of y'all like to call it.
before I made the pick, before I made the
Something like
pick,
that.
before I made the pick at 103, right? I knew Baby Shark had picked 104, and I told you, I said it on the show. I said it's a little bit of game theory here. I kind of wanted to put the pressure on him. That's why I said what I said about the Wilson Moore situation. I wanted him to have that pressure to either make that decision or allow me to make that decision. We've had talks in the past about potentially trading, so that's why the foundation was kind of there. Yes, I do like Jameson Williams without a doubt, but I do have Garrett Wilson in another league. So why not be all in on that ship?
So a couple things here. Obviously, let me before we go any further.
Penny Hardaway style deal.
That pick is in, right? 107.
It is in.
Wilson is. So Baby Sharks, you are on the clock again at 108.
that
Let's
pick on
see
the
if
block
Baby
again?
Sharks actually picks a second time. He's been on the clock 5 times now. He's picked once. But
no, I'm
Baby Sharks moves into pick 8, correct?
1 second. Hold on.
I'm sorry.
So I'm not mad at you. You still get your guy, and you move up 2 spots in the second.
Still get a guy that I like, and I move up 2 spots in the second round.
Got you.
I keep the 108.
Oh, so big body boy back on the clock at 108.
I keep 108.
Yeah.
So
Excuse me.
So I get 108.
So let's hit that.
I pretty much
15 minutes.
swap Jameson Williams for Garrett Wilson, move up in the second
Gotcha,
round,
gotcha.
and then I still make my pick here.
So
right.
what's the move?
So back on the clock, big body boy, pick 108. Let's run through it all while he
y'all go.
since the clock is
I'm gonna let you
officially
make
started.
your decision for me.
Clock is officially started. This is where the draft officially starts in my eyes, right, guys? Because like I've said, there's a big 7 in my opinion in this draft, and now we're going on to the next tier. Let's see if this is where the next run of running back starts, or let's see if this is where some of those Sky Moores or maybe George Pickens or Christian Watson start getting looked at now, right? So we'll see.
I made the pick, I thought,
But pick 108, big body boy.
hold on, let's
And then who's got 9 and 10 is the man to the left of you now, J Money, OG Bobby Johnson.
I'm gonna tell you right now, 1.10 on the block. Y'all watching? Come holler at me.
It's on the block. Now, as far as this draft is concerned, so far we've had now 3 trades, back to back. Now, first trade was for the 106, which was with Baby Sharks for Elijah Mitchell. That was to just Joshin. Then the 106 got traded along to J Money for the 107 and his second round pick next year. Baby Sharks second round pick. Another one. 3 trades in a row with Baby Sharks from this panel, right?
Hey, he told me on the phone. He's like, I'm trying to bring some excitement, some entertainment to the show, some content.
Now we were supposed to have Baby Sharks on this show, but apparently, he's
got a home situation.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is he's at home wheeling and dealing. He said he didn't want to do it face to face with us. No, he's
on that Bill Belichick right now.
Yeah, man, he's doing it behind the scenes right now, man, big time.
Yeah.
Shout out to Baby Sharks, improving on your team, gaining assets, and maybe picking sometime this draft.
So what you gonna do?
At 108.
108. Ah, man, let me get comfortable,
What you
man.
gonna do?
He got 11. Let me see. He got 11 and a half minutes left.
Trade
Still.
up?
I'm comfortable.
11 and a half minutes.
I'm gonna let you make
You good?
the decision. Oh, I'm great.
All right.
11 and a half minutes. All right. Let's see what we got.
Yeah.
I
think you know who you want to take right now.
yeah. No, I do.
Yeah. So I think you should make that move.
So right now, like we keep stressing, and JDINO just said, the top 7 are off the board.
Yep.
All the 5 top wide receivers in the first round. Well, there's still one more available. The top wide receivers are off the board. London, Burks, Wilson, Olave, Williams.
Top 2 running backs.
Top running backs
Hall
off the
and
board.
Kenneth Walker.
So now is where the draft starts to open up a little bit. We still have some wide receivers that are tied to top-tier quarterbacks. Sky Moore, Christian Watson. Sky Moore with Patty Mahomes. Christian Watson with Aaron Rodgers. There's George Pickens still available. Wide receiver, second-round pick to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
Who, believe it, I mean, if he didn't sustain the injury he had, he could have been in an argument for the top wide receivers in this class.
Correct.
You still have guys that are surprising, like James Cook. Being a second-round draft pick in the actual NFL draft was kind of surprising to me. I kept pegging the Buffalo Bills taking a running back, and James Cook was that guy.
Right.
And second-round draft capital is very good draft capital. The sky's the limit for me. Pun intended, maybe or not. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see who I pick in this draft.
8.5 minutes left. Are you
8.5 minutes.
Are you gonna go?
Let me check the.
Sky's the limit, or are you gonna go with James Cook that you haven't stopped talking about for about 6 or 7 weeks now? What you got? Big body boy in the middle.
Yeah, it's I can go one of many ways. Get you guys, let me know or talk to the people. Who do you guys think? Who do you guys think? Without saying, who do you guys think? Who should go in this spot right here? Pretend I'm not here.
I think.
Tell the people.
I think he's got to go Kenny Pickett.
I was going to say Sam Howell.
No, yeah, man.
Sam Howell?
Yeah, I'll say Sam Howell right here, man. That's the move.
No, Bernie
man.
would have done it. No. Excuse me.
That's foul, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Chicken Coop, you made a good pick this draft. I like it, man. I like it. No, it could go any way, man.
I have gone 3 wide receivers, right? I went in this draft and I took 3 wide receivers. So one would say I should take the running back here.
You should.
One could say, why not just keep loading up on wide receivers?
Yeah. I mean, tell us, are you competing? Do you feel like your team is ready to compete this year? Now with the 3 wide receivers you added to this roster.
I think my team, if things shake out, I do have Russell Wilson at quarterback.
Who's in a great situation. Obviously.
I do have, like I said, Javonte Williams at running back alongside J.K. Dobbins. Excuse me. And then with the 3 wide receivers I took this year between London, Wilson, and
Wilson.
Did I take?
Yeah,
London.
You've taken 2 picks so far.
Two
London and
wide
Wilson.
receivers. Yeah.
You've taken 3. You traded 1.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Excuse me. Oh, it's been a long day.
Wilson and London.
Wilson and London. Yeah, taking Wilson and London, adding them to guys like I've already mentioned: Rashad Bateman, Devontae Smith, Michael Pittman. So the wide receivers are there. I mean, granted, they're not locked and loaded number 1 guys, but I think they're going to be very high upside guys and can make some noise. Sure. Tight end position's a little weak right now with guys like Evan Ingram and Dan Arnold, and so I can use some help at the tight end position.
There you go, Trey McBride right now.
Yeah, I mean, could be an option there. But moving up from 203 to 201 could be a big move as well. So let me go ahead and let me make this pick.
Without further ado,
tell us what the pick is. I'm not even
number
going to look
8
at my
pick.
phone. I'm going to let you talk to the people.
Big
son.
Body Boy selects.
Talk to the people, son.
Tyreek Hill on the block. All right, just catching up. How much time I got, actually?
You heard him. Tyreek Hill on the block, man.
How much time I got?
Money. If y'all trying to get this chip this year, pay me
looks like
respectfully.
about 3.5 minutes.
Okay. So, it can go any way. I like James Cook a lot. I like the running back situation there, tied to Josh Allen, pass catcher, probably bumps Moss out of there.
Yeah.
Devin
I
Singletary.
think Moss bumped Moss out of there.
Yeah, Zach Moss.
year.
Zach Moss probably out of there. You know, Devin Singletary is not an explosive kind of running back. So there is a world where James Cook is a viable option at running back for the Buffalo Bills, and that is very intriguing for me.
But with 2 minutes left on this clock, is that where Big Body Boy is going with his pick?
Sky Moore is available. Sky Moore, you mentioned, I threw it out there that Tyreek Hill's on the block. Tyreek Hill was traded in the NFL. He's in Miami now. So all those targets are there. Yes, they bring in Juju Smith-Schuster. Yes, they bring in Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Yes, Travis Kelce's still there. But at the same time, yes, Patrick Mahomes is still there. And there is a void of 100-plus targets, whatever it is. Right. He is a second-round pick, small school, Western Michigan. Came out early. Comparable to DJ Moore or Golden Tate, that type of player, yak guy. Loaded at wide receiver. But I'm loaded at wide receiver. Not loaded. I'm gonna say I have plenty of options at wide receiver to that makes me happy. So why not take and start the trend of that second tier running back and take a guy that I've been high on from the start. Take running back James Cook from Georgia, now with the Buffalo Bills, and add him to this roster and start that next trend.
Very nice pick.
James Cook, running back, Buffalo Bills, come on home.
Not mad at it.
Very nice pick.
Talk to me. What are we looking like?
I'm not mad at it. I mean, that's who I was considering taking at 108 if we did make our deal. So I like James Cook there for sure. For sure.
You know, you talk about guys explosive, and running backs, especially in the PPR league, running backs that catch the ball just give you that little extra value, and that's what James Cook did at Georgia.
Right.
It kind of reminds me of, like I threw him out there. I think on the show we talked about him. As I'm watching the film, I kept seeing Jamal Charles type runner, undersized but explosive, catching. Buffalo's a great situation. The RPOs with Josh Allen being a big body runner himself is going to open the things up. The dump off pass is going to be there. The linebackers have to play off because of Stephon Diggs and Gabriel Davis and Dawson Knox.
My only slight knock, man, is for Buffalo, man. You know, I love James Cook a lot. However, I feel like what they really needed was a big body running back that they could take some of these goal line work off of.
Well, that's Josh Allen.
Josh Allen, right. But they need to extend
Breece
his career.
Hall would have been the move there.
No, for sure, Breece Hall.
To extend his career, they need to stop letting him take all that goal line work. And I feel like that's where they slightly missed because Dev Singletary is small too.
Small, but he's still bigger than James.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
I feel like that's where Buffalo slightly missed. And James Cook could fill that void. You know, he could very well. I mean, Dalvin Cook is not huge. Right. You know, so he's been a 3-down back, you know, injury prone.
If he puts on 10 pounds and he's 205, now you're talking about guys like Christian McCaffrey. You're talking about guys like Alvin Kamara. Yeah. You know, he becomes in that realm, and he could potentially be, you know, remember Alvin Kamara coming out of the draft wasn't highly touted. He was a 3rd-round pick himself out of Tennessee, and nobody was really on him, and he ended up popping, probably being the best running back in that class. So, hey, I've seen worse. I've already taken my shots at wide receiver early. Why not take James Cook, see what happens? If I miss, I miss, but that's why you have all these darts. And then I move from 203 to 201, and I'm, you know, if I'm looking at a certain tier of wide receivers that will be there that I can still address the wide receiver position if they're there.
Yep. And now we are on pick 109. My man, J Money in the Kobe corner.
All right.
You got about
so you said
13 and a half minutes.
You said let me make my decision for you. I'm going to go out on a limb that James Cook wasn't in your plans.
He was not.
Okay. I figured that.
He was not. I mean, but if you went a different route,
right,
then I'm not going to let somebody else get him.
Okay.
But he was not in my plans.
Touche.
You did not. You did not
go
take.
past the
So
top 10.
hold up. I'm gonna say this right now, man. 1.10's on the block. Y'all come holler at me. I'm not trading 1.09 because you did not take my guy.
Right.
So you made my decision in the sense that you confirmed that my guy's there and I'm taking him. You see what I'm saying? Yep. But we'll get into that. I'm not even gonna give all that out right now.
We got 12 minutes to talk about it. Let us know where you at.
I got 27 minutes in the next 2 picks here.
Y'all lock in. There's going to be a whole lot of J Money
I'm
for about
gonna use
27
these 12
minutes.
minutes, man. Y'all come talk to me about this 110, man. Let's make something happen. Man. 1.09 ain't on the block. But yeah, holla at me. I'm ready to do some business. But anyway, I'm not mad at the James Cook pick. I mean, obviously he's got some NFL pedigree in his system.
Yep.
So
ran faster than his brother, a little bit more explosive than his brother.
Yeah, good move. I'm not mad at it. So
and the draft capital, I let the draft capital speak to me. There's certain situations where I really don't care about the draft capital, but when you get taken in the second round by a team that has Super Bowl aspirations, that shows me that this team is going to utilize you. They could have gone any other direction. They could have went offensive line. They could have gotten another wide receiver, defense. They could have done anything else, but they said James Cook is our guy with the second round. I got to be all in on that.
I like it.
Got to be.
All right, well, I'm going to gauge some conversation, so we see what it is, but,
well, Money, how about you throw out a few people that you might be looking at here? You don't got to tell us exactly where you're going, man.
If I think about it, right now at this point, I got Patty Mahomes, right? It does make sense for Scott Moore. I mean, it's a great look, but I got the next.
It's a guy that you've gone on record to berate, to belittle, to throw dirt on.
It makes sense, right?
It does make sense. It does make sense. So,
but will I do? It's the question.
That is the question. You've been burned once by Western Michigan wide receivers before. So, with Corey Davis. So, with that being said,
what'd you think I'd do? Nah, but I mean he's out there. But you can't be mad at the talent, man. When you look at look at his metrics, his SPAR score, and you look at his athleticism, it's up there in terms of this wide receiver class being the top.
All right.
So you got him out there. You got Watson out there, right? You go into a situation with Aaron Rodgers, who's really trying to get it. You got, 2 years left on his contract or 3?
He signed a 4-year deal, but it's kind of avoidable,
Yeah, it's pretty much guaranteed for 2 and see where they at.
Yeah,
right. So, you got an open situation out there with Watson, which, you can't be mad at it. 6'5" type receiver. Got the speed, got the athleticism. Right. Then you got George Pickens out there, too. I think.
Talk to me about George Pickens.
George Pickens, man.
He's a dog.
Only one wide receiver in this class had a younger breakout age. Your boy Drake London.
Mm-hmm.
So when I look at George Pickens and you think about Olave, who's right there too, that has a younger breakout age, and some of these other guys that's been taken, within this draft so far. That to me speaks volumes when it comes to these college players transitioning into the league.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to just that breakout age and have consistency. I know he's out of Georgia. They don't really run a high flying type passing game, but Pickens to me is a dog. Yeah. That cat got he's got that heart, that grit that you can't teach on the field. I might be giving a lot of info right now where I'm going in my direction.
A lot of scouts said that he fell in the draft partially because of the injury, but also because of his on-the-field antics as far as fighting and having altercations with defenders on the field. So he is a dog. He does have that fight in him. He fits perfectly in Pittsburgh for me. Mike Tomlin.
He went into the right
Absolutely.
position, the right team.
Absolutely.
If you tell me. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, he went to the right team. That's what Steelers Nation is all about. They're all about that grind, that
grit and grind.
Punch you straight in your damn chin and just run with it. They don't.
That black and blue ball.
Yeah, that's it. They're gonna make sure you feel them Monday morning.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but then you got a young quarterback that they brought in, Kenny Pickett. So I always like situations when you see a wide receiver get drafted at a high position, and then they take a quarterback at a high position, and it gives them time to build together, right? You look at Chase Claypool, who I don't believe is he's not it. I see them going away from that. And granted, we see a lot of production from Deontay Johnson, but Deontay Johnson is one of the league leaders in drops, bro. His drop percentage, he's got to improve on it.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, granted, he has so many targets with Ben that you can almost forget about the drops that he does.
Right,
but if you lessen the targets, if you lessen the way he's targeted, and let's say Pickens could overtake his position, then those drops are going to be more critical than what they were before when he's getting less targets.
Very true.
Right. So to me, I think George Pickens has all the opportunity in the world to go into Pittsburgh and be that alpha.
I can see that
for that team.
I can see that.
You know,
absolutely.
And I think, you know, in this class, we look at the whole excitement of these players that, and granted, like, I honestly think Pickens has all the skill set to arguably be a top 3 wide receiver in this class. But absolutely, as you said, with the antics, the injury, and everything else, you know, he dropped. But I think Pick got to steal him.
Yeah,
you got to steal him.
Absolutely.
So,
and we've seen it in the past. You know, they have Antonio Brown. They draft Juju Smith-Schuster. Juju Smith-Schuster has a breakout rookie season.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to next year. They draft Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson has come into the league and been one of the better wide receivers. Yes, he has the drops, but he's been one of the better PPR wide receivers in the league. Right. Then they go in and they draft in the second round every year. It's second, third round. Chase Claypool. Chase Claypool comes in a rookie year and blows up for a couple games. I know he had one big game against the Eagles with 3 touchdowns. So,
and then Chase Claypool announces his successor.
Yeah, yeah. He announces his replacement in George Pickens, and maybe George Pickens is the one. Maybe he's the keeper out of the one. You know, Juju's on and gone, and you know we'll see what Deontay Johnson is. He more of a product of Big Ben, or can he consistently be the guy that we've seen in the past? And it's
all right. Well, with 2 minutes left on the clock, J Money, are you picking Pickens?
Is your Pickens?
Honestly, like I said back to earlier, right? When you look at the breakout age, 18 and a half years old, going into the college, you know, D1, SEC type school, and really going out balling, you gotta respect that, right?
Yeah. And we're talking about a big kid, man, 6'4", you know, 210. It could be a little bigger. I wish he was 220, but he's more built like, you know, a little bit bigger than AJ Green, who also went to Georgia. If he was 220, I mean, you could be talking about.
But you know, at the same time, you know, he's still young.
He'll grow.
Yeah.
He'll definitely grow into his size.
He's got all the time to actually develop and put on weight and still be successful. He just turned 21 years old.
Right.
You know, he's the same age as Jameson Williams with a younger breakout age.
True.
He's younger than the guys we just took. You and I took.
Yeah.
You know, outside of Drake. So you know, if you look at it, he's got the second youngest breakout age. He's the you know, one of the, you know, along with Jameson being the same age as him, but he's got a younger breakout age as Jameson. So you put them two together, they only come after, as far as their current age, after Drake London. That's the pick right here for me, man. Yeah. You know, I think at this point, I can't go wrong with taking George Pickens right now at this point.
There you go.
So, but hey, I'm gonna make this move right now. 1.10's on the block. Y'all come holler at me, man. You know, we'll see what it is. We can work something out.
109 pick is in. Pickens is his pick.
6'3", 220. He earned his money for me at the combine. You know, seeing him run at that size, seeing him run that 4.4 range, 4.47. The speed score was there. You mentioned the early 18.5 breakout age. The college yards per reception is 17.8. He checks a lot of boxes. Again, it goes back to, similar to Jameson Williams, it goes back to the injury and the off the field. His rookie season, his freshman season was 49 catches for 727 yards. And then with a lot of these prospects, it kind of, they had that COVID year, you know, where, you know, some of them played the whole season, some of them played half a year. So it's really, it kind of stunted their development. So you really have to kind of be foreshadowed, like you have to look forward, like, all right, you know, you really can't look at the production and say, man, well, he didn't have a great, you know, college career, but yeah, that COVID year kind of hit. You know, some guys only played 6 games, so I like the pick. He started out early in the process, maybe towards that end of the first, but like I said, after the combine, and then after, you know, Pittsburgh takes him in the second round with the draft capital, he's been bumping up ever so slowly into that right here in that middle of the first round.
And my man J Money, he walks away with a great pick in Pickens. So
again,
110 on the clock. Got 15 minutes.
On the clock.
Holla at my man.
On the clock and on the block, man.
Going back to the Pickens, look, and this goes down the line with all these wide receivers. If somebody said to me, if somebody from the future came in and said, yo, George Pickens was the best wide receiver in this class, I would not be surprised. If someone said it about Garrett Wilson or Drake, whoever, you know, anyone. If somebody said that comes from the future and Marvin the Martian ship and says, yo, this guy's the best wide receiver in the class, I wouldn't be surprised. It's really that type of class. There's really no standout. Even at the 103, yes. In every draft we've been in, Drake London has been the 103.
Right.
But who's to say that Treylon Burks isn't the best wide receiver in this class?
Who's to say?
So take your shots. Take your shots. You get one for sure. Let's see if you go back to back here. Or you go a different direction. Now the floor is yours to have your way.
Yeah, and the sky is
we're
still
gonna
the
use
limit.
this time, man. You know.
Hey, Wayne had a song.
Sky is the limit. That big.
You mentioned, I mean, let's paint the picture. You know, let's paint the picture. You mentioned you do have Patrick Mahomes. He is your starting quarterback.
Yep.
You have Tyreek Hill.
That's something we haven't done. We haven't really pointed out J Money's team. Let's break it down. You know what I'm saying? Let's
bring
break
up
it
the roster.
down.
Bring up the. I'll let you do what you do. I'll bring it up.
Yeah, go ahead and break it down.
He's got Patty Mahomes as his starting quarterback. You know.
This is a champion as well, former champion.
Former champion. Wide receiver, he still has Tyreek Hill, who he has mentioned is on the block.
But he lost. Let's touch that. He lost that connection. Let's touch on the connection tip for a minute with the fantasy. You know, we talk about wide receiver quarterback connections and what that means. Some people hold it to a high standard. Some people don't really care. I'm one of those that if you can get one that's Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow level, then you go all in.
That's what Hill and Mahomes was.
He rode that Hill Mahomes
to a championship. That was their best season together.
The way it works out is if Patrick Mahomes throws a touchdown to Tyreek Hill, instead of getting 6 points just for Patrick Mahomes, you end up getting 12 points because it's 6 for Mahomes and 6 for Tyreek Hill.
At least, because it's actually 13 when you add in the reception and not including any type of yards. So the minimum you're going to get is 13, as a matter of fact.
That's a fact.
You know, so
that's a fact.
It's huge, man. It's huge.
So we have, again, a former champion. I believe you won.
Logan asked, is there a back-to-back champion?
I did mention, if you were watching the show, I did mention that he hate me, the man who took Breece Hall in the beginning, was the back-to-back champion of this league.
Yeah.
He won.
He must have not heard you the first time. Or he had to hear it.
He had to. Yeah, you know how it is.
He won't acknowledge you, but he had to hear it.
He will never acknowledge me.
But he got to hear that a couple times, right?
Yeah. But let's go down the list. Get back to the regular schedule programming. We got Patrick Mahomes and Tua Tagovailoa. Your quarterback situation, you're locked and loaded.
Yeah.
You're ready for now and the long haul. Now, mind you, let's really paint the picture. Your team looked a lot better than this. You are one of those, similar to what my situation that I said last year's. You looked yourself and your team in the mirror and said, you know what?
It's time.
It's time. I'd rather, instead of, if I'm not first, I want to be last.
Yep.
So what did you do? You moved on from pieces like DeAndre Hopkins.
I moved on. Traded Jalen Waddle, even though he was a young piece.
Yeah.
You know, but
you traded him for more assets.
More assets, and even though great trade for both sides, I think. I moved on from Eckler.
You made some mistakes. You made some mistakes.
I made some mistakes in last year pride. But
let's talk about some mistakes. Before we talk about hold on. If we're going to talk about the good, let's talk about the bad.
I talk that right now.
All right, well, he's making his pick. Let's talk about it.
We got to talk about the good. We're going to talk about the bad.
Because he once owned Cooper Kupp.
Yes. Yeah. Talk to him.
He once owned Deebo Samuel.
Yeah, that's what. See, here's the thing: what people don't think. Dynasty. See, this is why dynasty don't last, man. These cashes. See, y'all go ahead and trust a 30 car salesman over somebody that actually give back to the league, right? See, you know what I'm saying? I spread the wealth, man. I let other people eat. True. So y'all remember that when you out there, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Counting your little stack. Think about it. I helped you eat.
I think it's safe to say.
I made you.
I think it's safe to say that we could be sitting here with two-time champions. J Money could have won another championship, if not three, with the roster he had before.
But let's talk about what I've done and how I rebounded. Right.
No,
I got 3 firsts. I got 2 firsts next year.
Yeah.
I got 3 firsts at 24. I got 3 seconds at 24.
And 3 firsts in this year.
Yeah, and 3 firsts in this year,
Alongside guys like Cam Akers.
Cam Akers. I got Juju. I try to go ahead and get it. You know, I got a little smaller connect that play down free agency. We'll see how that go.
We mentioned Russell Gage as a little dirty sleeper.
I think that's a Brady type receiver.
For sure.
So, we'll see how that plays.
Tyreek Hill is, like we mentioned, is there. You just picked Chris Olave, George Pickens. So the youth is on the rise. Juju Smith-Schuster is there.
Here's the youth that I like most about my team. Granted, another mistake, which I blessed somebody with, was moving Andrews. But when you look at the youth on my tight end spot, you know, I'm super high on Brevin Jordan.
Love David Njoku.
Yeah, got Njoku. And I got Komet.
Cool, Komet. I'm going to
You
have
know
to
what
come
I'm
see you, actually. I'm going to
Nah, I
have to
don't
come see
know
you
about
for a
that.
tight end. Resume. I
Resume.
got that from Jack Harlow. Yeah, so I just definitely wanted to paint the picture as far as, you know, here's 2 veterans who have won championships and are both coming to you with, hey, it's time. It's time. Sometimes you just got to, like I said, I keep mentioning, you got to look yourself in the mirror and say, if I'm not first, I'm last. I'm resetting the clock, picking up assets, because that's how one of the ways to build your roster is through rookie draft, through trading. Just bring some excitement, bring some youth. You know, he's mentioned his mistakes in the past, and he's definitely rebounded from those mistakes. I mean, I'm looking down this list. I mean, between Olave, Pickens, Tyreek Hill, who I know you keep throwing out there in trade bait. You got some options at the wide receiver positions to be excited about, to grow with.
Sure.
And then Cam Akers is another dark horse, you know.
Which he just acquired this offseason, I
Right.
believe. Who'd you trade for Cam Akers? How did that deal quite pan out?
I got to go back to that deal, actually. That's a good question. I'll tell you right now. Cam Akers, I sent Joe Mixon, and I got Cam Akers, and I want to say it was a 23 first.
Yeah, you got first.
Yeah, Cam Akers in the first for Joe Mixon. There you go. That's low-key resetting the clock.
Cam Akers coming off the Achilles injury. I mean, he surprised us all, making a comeback last season in the playoffs. Granted, the yards per rush weren't there. Yards per carry wasn't there, but the excitement was there. The explosive was back. You saw the Cam Akers that we all loved coming out of Florida State. Especially, I mean, the devastating Achilles injury is like a death wish for running backs.
Yep.
So
money. We got about 3 minutes left on this number 10 pick.
Yeah, we still talking. We still talking here.
We got about 3 minutes left. You get your talks off. Let's see what money wants to add to this rebuilding team.
I think it's easy to like the top 7 guys. I think it's easy for somebody to say, I like this guy. Now it's getting to the range where trading up is going to be a little difficult, because unless somebody really likes a Sky Moore or Christian Watson, it's going to be, you know, some people are probably just going to sit back. You know, somebody like, for example, a Cookin Dubs, who's sitting back here at, 111, 110?
He's waiting about 2.5 minutes to get on that clock.
He would really have to love Watson or Moore to really want to trade up. And at that point, you're probably just better off just sitting back and hoping one of these guys fall to you.
Could be.
You know, so we'll see what you got cooking up. I know you are infamous for being, you know, the wheeler and dealer. You know, you throw your little haikus, your little soliloquies. Yeah. You know, what's good for you.
Tell them why it's good for them. You know
I'm saying,
mob boss kind of style.
Nah,
you know what
I mean, at the end of the day, dog, man, win-win deals are the best, man. Everybody trying to win in every deal, but I'm looking for the other side of the win. You saw me already do a deal like that today. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. My pattern shows.
That's a fact. And that has some weight to it, you know, kind of, you know, doing a deal with an owner and not really banging them on the head like we've seen other owners do. Like, that kind of builds, you kind of build that rapport with this owner. Say, you know what, we did good business before. Let's do some good business later.
Agreed.
You know, you got to.
Then you got those dirty car salesmen.
Got the things on the on the side and
all they want to do is bang you in the head.
That's it. You
Every
know,
opportunity they get.
selling the car for top dollar, you knowing it's got no dang on engine in there. And
For real.
uh,
That's what the locals. I mean, that's what some people do, man. So, J Money, minute and a half, my man.
talk to us.
Oh
to
man, it's got to be good over there. It's got your interest.
So we took Pickens. We took George Pickens.
So let's look forward into this next pick. Let's look at Cookin Dubs.
I started
all right?
off. Yeah. We're gonna
let's
look at Cookin Dubs.
Let's look at Cookin Dubs. Let's see what he might be looking
Cookin Dubs is
for J Money to leave for him.
Cookin Dubs is another one in situations. I've had conversations with him in the past, and he's another one that he's kind of on the fence. I think with where his team is. He's one of those where at a snap of a moment he could flip his team and be in a championship conversation.
Right.
You look at his roster.
Let's look at it.
What you got?
All right. So he doesn't have the strongest quarterbacks. So maybe he is looking at a Kenny Pickett. No, stop. No, but
Bernie's done picking, man.
but yeah, he's got Ryan Tannehill, Carson Wentz, and Zach Wilson as his quarterbacks.
Again, I go back Zach Wilson.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to believe in him because you just took his boy. And then Cookin Dubs, he obviously, off of his name, he's got Dalvin Cook, big FSU fan. Our buddy Greg, he was on the show a few weeks ago. Big FSU fan. So, Dalvin Cook is supposed to be on his team, I think. He's also got Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And he's got Rojo as his backup now. So that's a nice situation. He's got Alexander Madison to back up Dalvin Cook. So that's a good situation to be in there. Wide receivers, he's got Jerry Jeudy, who he's got
a
little situation going on.
Some domestic violence allegations going on.
He's got a lot of question marks. He's got the mics. He's got the mic is on for him. He's got Mike Evans and Mike Thomas, and that sounds like question marks at wide receiver to me. Yeah.
Mike Evans is locked in. I'm locked in on Mike Evans. Tom Brady's back. Chris Godwin's not coming back anytime soon. I'm locked in on Mike Evans. Michael Thomas on the other hand.
For this year though, right?
Yeah. As long as Brady's in, I'm locked in. But yeah, if he's in the mode where he jumps to that side of the fence, I'm trying to get out of Mike Thomas. I actually traded him Mike Thomas.
And then he's got George Kittle at tight end. So which is obviously a nice piece to have as well. So at 111 here, he's got a couple options. I'm thinking he's probably got to be looking at a wide receiver personally. His wide receivers are aging.
It really depends on.
He's got the Corey Davis. He's got Mike Evans, Michael Thomas, like we said. So, and he had Antonio Brown and Randall Cobb, who obviously
he's sitting pretty right now.
He could use a wide receiver.
He's sitting pretty right now for the simple fact that, right now I'm looking at the board, and yes, George Pickens is off the board, but there was 3 wide receivers in this range where I would feel comfortable with somebody taking. George Pickens being one, Sky Moore with the Chiefs being the other, and Christian Watson, wide receiver with Green Bay Packers, being the other wide receiver. So if you say wide receivers is need at 110, depending on what J Money does, I think he's looking at one of those guys being right there for him.
That's about time. That's about time. J Money, we got a deal or we got a pick, baby?
Talk to
Yeah,
him.
man. I think I might actually surprise some heads on this move right here, man. I think this is one of them situations where I'm like, all right, I don't think I'm in a position to get him where I'm at in a second, right? So sometimes you just gotta go ahead and take your guy, right?
Ooh.
You gotta just
To
go ahead.
whom the bells.
You just gotta go ahead and take your guy sometimes, bro.
Nah. I got somebody else, bro.
To whom?
He's throwing the ball to right there.
Yeah, I saw that. I thought about that, but when he said second round,
Yeah.
I'm thinking of that
J
guy.
Money.
Yeah,
Talk to us,
you
man.
Surprise me, Money.
I do like that call, though. I do like that call.
I know what call he talking about.
I did mention earlier that there's still surprisingly one more wide receiver. I mentioned 3 wide receivers: Sky Moore, Sky Moore, Christian Watson, and who's the one I'm missing? Sky Moore, Christian Watson,
And George Pickens you were talking about.
And George Pickens, yeah. So, and I didn't even mention there's still one more wide receiver who was drafted in the first round, ahead of
All of these guys.
Treylon Burks, and ahead of these guys, There's still one more out there. Let's see if this is the guy. I won't say his name until the pick is made.
But J Money. Pick
But I know.
Pick a play, right? No. Pick a trade.
Yeah.
That's the question, right?
It's time for that question to be answered. Sir.
It's time. It's really get my guy situation, or do I really just shake up this draft? Look at the situation. I know I got a share of this player in another league. Actually, I got to share both of these players in another league. So I guess
I'm waiting to see if the pick is in.
All right.
I'm waiting.
Let's go ahead and look at this. I went back to earlier. There's two things I like a lot when it comes to players. I respect the breakout age, and I respect people that got that grit, that got that dog fight in them. And, you know, that's something that I just can't ignore. One player that has a really interesting breakout age here and is in a great situation that typically you should take. But there's a name, though, and I feel like I'm in a good situation. You know, we go back to the situation we talked about Garrett Wilson, right?
Right.
And going back to Trent's team, right? He's got Elijah Moore.
Baby Sharks.
Baby Sharks team. You know, he's got Elijah Moore, right? Should he just take him and let that situation play itself out?
True. Yep.
I got an interesting player in my situation that I should probably take right now and let it play out too.
True.
So when you look at Sam Howell being drafted to Washington Commanders,
Yes, sir.
a lot of people forget that his top receiver over there was DeAndre Brown, who's still just as young as half of this class here.
Yeah.
If not more than half of this class.
Wide receiver from North Carolina.
North Carolina. So somebody I'm gonna hold on to, right? So you say this, so should I take a Jahan Dotson here and figure this out?
That's a name we haven't heard yet.
It is a name. It is a name.
I know it's who you was leaning towards, Big J, when you was talking about this whole receiver in the first round.
Yes.
Thing, but his
still one.
name has finally come to the surface.
So let's talk about him. You mentioned Jahan Dotson. He was a first-round pick in the 2022 NFL Draft to the Washington Commanders. Penn State wide receiver. Sure hands. Probably some scouts say he has the best hands in the draft.
Class, I think, personally.
You know, really nothing other than him going to the Commanders that would really knock him as far as the style of player he is. I mean, he has the pedigree of being Penn State. You know, I mentioned it in past shows. You know, guys like Chris Godwin, Mike Gesicki, Saquon Barkley, Miles Sanders, Allen Robinson. These are all Penn State
Penn State wide receivers.
wide receiver pass catchers or
Products,
players.
period.
Products. There you go. And they've all been productive in the league or have had shines. And you know, Jahan Dotson going to the Commanders. Terry McLaurin is there. He is the bona fide number one wide receiver in that class. I mean, in that team. You mentioned DYNASTY Brown, third round pick for the Commanders last year. They draft Sam Howell in the 4th round this year, behind Carson Wentz, who has his injury history. That dynamic between Howell and Brown is there. If Howell is the number one or it becomes the quarterback one of the team, but sometimes talent beats out at the end of the day. So if Jahan Dotson is talented, more talented than DYNASTY Brown, then he should have that clear number 2 spot and maybe push Terry McLaurin
for the number 1.
Exactly.
I agree. That's what I was
Terry
thinking
McLaurin
as
is
well.
good, but he's a little older. He's broken out.
27, right? Pushing 27.
Yeah, he's pushing 27. So, you know, there's room to grow behind Terry McLaurin for sure.
Sure.
What's the pick?
I should go wide receiver, right?
It's got to be in.
That's the thing, right? You should go wide receiver here, but there's a pick, though, that I think a lot of people going to think it's a reach here. But when you look at the situation, great offense. He got knocked on for his combine. Now, I feel like I got 2, potentially could be the top wide receivers in this class. I could stack on wide receivers. I know this player is not coming to me at 2.8.
Right.
And I feel like by selling my 23 third, I am not about to sell any more future assets. 23 second.
Right.
And getting this Olave. Somebody who's behind a player that does not have the cleanest bill of health, and I think I'm going to shake up the draft right here.
Talk to him.
I think I'm going to shake up the draft right here. A lot of people going to disagree with this pick probably right now.
Go ahead.
But,
It's your pick. A man's pick
is a
man's pick.
But
Ain't that right, Uncle B?
I think his combine, people knock it, but football speed is completely different than the combine speed.
Don't do it.
I'm taking Isaiah Spiller.
Oh my God.
I'm taking Isaiah Spiller right here. Give me the cat that's behind Austin Eckler, who has not had the cleanest bill of slate. I need a running back on this team. Right? I need to go get a guy who's not even 21 years old yet.
He's not even 21.
Not even 21.
Right.
That's got immense upside. Football speed is different than combine speed. Told you I'm going to shake up the draft.
Love it, bro. Love this pick right here. You did. You shook it up. Obviously, Big J didn't see that one coming. But fantastic pick.
Appreciate it.
Austin Eckler, not the cleanest bill of slate, like you said. Chargers offense is a great offense to be in, for the future going forward.
I'll explain.
Man, I love it for you, man. I love it for you. I mean, obviously, you've said it before. Your team is in a rebuilding process, right?
Yeah.
So you want to keep adding assets to the future, not necessarily right now, the future. And that's exactly what Isaiah Spiller is.
I did kind of rock your world a little bit with the James Cook look, if that was the case.
Nah, you know what? To be honest with you, I probably would have took James Cook if he was there. But I'm looking at the whole picture, and I'm like, damn, all right. I got me some shares of David Bell. I got a couple shares of I got a few shares, actually. I got me some shares of Dodson.
Got you.
And when I look at the De'Ami Brown situation, I'm like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? He just turned 21 years old.
Just a quick second before you go any further. Cooking Dubs, you on the clock, my man. You got 15 minutes, sir.
Can I go in a little bit?
You say you
Going in.
Just let me go in for just a little bit, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you like Alex and wind you up, or you got to turn it down?
No.
Talk to me. Talk to me.
Uh-oh.
You say you like it. He says he loves it. I'm gonna go on the other side. I will say I'll start it by this. I'll start it with this.
I know you are.
I am intrigued. Okay, I'm intrigued. This is if go get your guy was in the dictionary. J Money in this moment right here, right now would be the picture.
That's a
right
fact.
there and there.
That's a fact.
Now let's paint the picture. Maybe what? A year ago, 6-7 months ago, to this day, you could argue that Isaiah Spiller, because I was in the situation, I had the 103.
Yeah.
You could argue that Isaiah Spiller was in the conversation for top three pick in this draft.
Yeah.
Now,
Logan says terrible pick.
there you go. Thank you, Logan.
I disagree.
Now,
I'm going to go get my guy.
Now, with that being said, SEC wide receiver, running back, SEC running back, Texas A&M, correct?
Correct.
Young, not even 21.
Not even
Can't
21.
even drink right now. He's 20 years old. Goes to the combine and poops the bed. Goes to his pro day and even poops the bed even more.
Not the first guy.
You are correct. Not the first guy. Poops the bed at the combine. Okay? Goes into the NFL draft and goes in the 4th round of the NFL draft behind guys like Rashad White, James Cook, Brian Robinson, Tyrion Davis-Price. These are all running backs that were taken ahead of him. To take him in the 1st round is a very, very, very ballsy play. Now, I did hear you say that I don't think he was going to be there at 2.8, and you didn't want to give up any future assets, which tells me you weren't going to trade up from 2.8 to wherever range it was. I see that. But man, you have to love him. You would have to love Isaiah Spiller to do
I like him.
And that's the reason why
Yo,
I love this pick for him personally.
Yeah.
Only because of the fact that sometimes you got to go get your guy.
Gotta go get him.
And at 2.8, you're right. He wasn't gonna get him. Where's he falling everywhere else? 2.2, 2.3.
I seen him go 2.4,
Yeah.
2.6.
So I mean, at the end of the day, Uncle B, get on here and tell this man that a man's pick is a man's pick, and no matter how much the Star and Center don't like it, that's that man's pick. And you know what, Isaiah Spiller, I love it because it's your pick. And you made that pick, and you made that decision.
A lot of people won't do it, man.
Nobody else is going to agree with
money
it.
don't make money,
all
man.
right, so
you know what I'm saying? You can't just sit there and be looking at it like, I look at it like this, yo. Josh Kelly, nothing.
Right. Nothing.
Roundtree showed nothing. Right. And he had all this clout coming out last year. Justin Jackson, come on, dog. Like, you had so many opportunities to show you can handle that team with Eckler missing games. Eckler, look, let's all right, check it. What does Isaiah Spiller do great? Probably one of the outside of James Cook, he's a great passing down back.
Pass catcher,
all right.
He looks explosive on tape.
Look, the coach
Looks explosive, looks fast on tape, honestly.
Look, the running backs coach that's in Chargers right now came from New Orleans, which excelled AK's career.
Yeah.
That's very true. Yeah.
Right.
AK was a slow
Eckler
runner.
had one of his best years ever last year.
Last season.
Which
under
is his
that
first
running back
underneath
coach.
that tutelage. You know what I'm saying? So Eckler doesn't have the cleans, but then Eckler out here talking about on podcasts like, yeah, they need to not play me as much so I could be healthy for the playoffs. Meaning that he know he can't withstand the pressure of what he's done with his health. His slate, he's not had the cleanest bullet slate. I will take Isaiah Spiller over Justin Jackson, Larry Roundtree, and Josh Kelly every day. Y'all will disagree right now. There's people that will love it. It's either you're going to love it or you're going to hate it. You know what I'm saying? Ain't going to be nowhere in between with this pick. But I promise you, there's somebody in the second round that's like, damn.
No, you are
Might
right.
be sitting right next to you.
No. Definitely was interested in the second round. That's what I.
Many won't have the heart to do that right there.
The player I love.
I'm gonna say I'll come over right now.
Tell him to come. We're almost done though. The player.
Not invited anymore.
The player, I'm very intrigued by the player. We mentioned we called back to the. It's funny. It's kind of full circle. We called back to the Where the Gems At episode.
Yeah.
And you know, I threw out Isaiah Spiller as a guy that I really liked.
Yeah,
I do.
you did.
But to me, what you did today, right, wrong, or indifferent, what you did today is you went to the dealership. All right? And you had $50,000 free. You can use it for any car you wanted.
I saw that 95 Ashfield Legend.
And yeah, you chose the 7500 you know, the little Honda Civic.
And watch me flip.
95 Honda Civic. You know what I mean? So, hey, you know, we've seen guys go either undrafted.
Hey.
You know, we mentioned Elijah Mitchell earlier. Like, we've seen guys go 7th round undrafted that popped off. If money, Logan's called me. If this guy pops, hey, bro, I will acknowledge you.
All right, get that on tape.
I will acknowledge you.
Get that on tape. I want to see
Yo,
it.
hold on. Hey, don't curse.
Right?
Oh,
Huh?
I just need a t-shirt, dog. I can't come out looking like a bum, bro. I got nothing on right
bro,
now.
this show over, bro.
Y'all look too nice on that, man.
Logan
Well,
says we're
let
too
the
nice.
people know.
Hey, hold on.
Hey, somebody got to shake up the JV Sports Room episode on a pick that nobody ever seen coming and that nobody will even have the heart to do right here. I just came off of arguably the 2 top wide receivers in this class. And guess who had a younger breakout age in college than Breece Hall? Isaiah Spiller.
Cooking Dubs, you got about 5 minutes, my man. You still on the clock.
Football speed is different than combine speed, Logan. I don't want to hear it.
Hey, but slow is slow, man.
Slow is slow.
Slow.
Well, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, slow, dog.
Hey, you know what they
Hey,
say
this
about that
is
story.
coming from the man who
You know,
drafted
you know
Breece
who
Hall.
won the race in that story, right?
Berto would say, pull up on me.
Pull up on me, he said.
Let's go.
Hey.
Berto would say, grace me up, man.
Hey, man. If he
I
ain't
mean,
got
we
nothing
got-
else
we-
important to talk about, get him off the
We
phone.
got 2 more picks. If you want to stop in and just say your piece, or whatever. I don't know, but We appreciate your feedback.
Hey,
We got about
I got
18 minutes left. We got Greg on. We got Cooking Dubs on the clock.
How long I would have came through, but all right then, bro.
Cooking Dubs on the clock for another 3 minutes. And after that, the number 12 pick will be to the champion from this year, Najee by Nature. So, Cooking Dubs, got you about 2.5 minutes. Get that pick in, my man.
If you hit on him, I will acknowledge you. I
sure.
will. I will. For
It's a
sure.
gamble, boy, but you know I ain't scared to take that gamble now.
That is a gamble.
Hey,
That is a
I'm
gamble.
looking at my outs on the turn. I realize I got so many left on the rip. I'm gonna shove and push all in, man. Let's go.
Hey,
poker state of
man's
mind,
pick is a
man.
man's pick. Very
That's
nice
it.
pick, J Money.
Hey, but shout out
Let me
to
see,
Baby Shark. I just actually seen a text that he shot me, man. He said you really got a high upside player there. Respect.
There you go.
He does.
You got a high
absolutely.
upside player.
Absolutely.
Probably
does.
somebody that he was looking at around 2-3 himself.
Again, I stress that the player Isaiah Spiller I've been on all offseason. I mean, call me what you want. I guess I'm not ballsy. I'm not ballsy enough to take him in that position. I mean, I'll go out there and I'll admit it.
The lesser side, the higher side will not be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? The majority of folks will not be able to make that move there.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my situation. I moved up to get a guy like a Olave that I thought I would never get in this draft.
Right.
So, cool. I look at my team. I see the picture. I got my boys' pickers. You made my decision at 8, taking James Cook. Then when I look at the rest of his running backs and I see what's going to be out there, if I had to take anybody that could mess with this class, this tier of running backs that went in the first round, knowing that he would not be there in the second for me to get stock and move up, I'm gonna go take Spiller, man. Why not? It is what it is.
Cooking Dub still on the clock. He may be wheeling and dealing like we've mentioned.
Yeah.
He's
done in the past.
He's got a couple old heads on his team.
But
He may be looking to move.
Let's stay on this Isaiah Spiller conversation. So we mentioned the combine and the pro day. He runs a 4.69, so a 4.7 in the 40. For a running back who is pegged at 6 foot 217.
Yeah, that's a little bad.
So he's a bigger back. So
It's
he's
bad.
slow is slow. That's not great at all.
Who knows
Also, at the same time, it's not all about speed, like Money said. But his speed score and his burst score, those is what you want to see from running backs. How bursty are you? He's in the 24th percentile with a 13.1 burst score. So that means his agility, his vertical, all of that combined in one gives you his burst score. So he's not showing, at least in underwear, he's not showing burst. On tape, pause, by the way. On tape, he shows that he's bursty. I watched the film, and he looks fast. And that's what's so tricky about Isaiah Spiller.
How do we ignore 6 feet, 220 pounds,
Yeah.
not even 21 years old yet, going to a team that has an offense that's going to be making noise for years to come.
This is fact.
And a system that, you're not going to drop 8 in the box against any running back on the Chargers as long as Herbert is throwing that rock.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And also to say he's on a team who also went undrafted and found Austin Eckler. So maybe they know something we don't know. Maybe you know something I don't know. College dominator, 23.7. Yards per carry is 5.6. That's about average. You kind of want to see that up in the 6-7 range in college.
For sure.
He's young. The kid is young. Early, you mentioned the early breakout. At 18 years old, he was in the SEC at Texas A&M, rushing for 946 yards and 10 touchdowns as a freshman. Then he followed that up as a sophomore with 188 rushes for over 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns. And then again, follows that up again with another 1,000-yard season as a true junior. Again, the reception, we talked about James Cook being receptions. 29, 20, 25 receptions every year he's catching the ball. Some will say he's probably the best receiving back in this class. I love the player. The draft spot, I guess the trade wasn't there. The trade back wasn't there for you.
Trade back wasn't there.
So,
Trade back
again,
wasn't
I
there.
commend you for it.
It wasn't there.
I commend you
The
for
trade
it.
back wasn't there.
But man, am I surprised. I commend you for it, but I'm surprised.
Well,
Many
all
are.
surprises
Many are.
aside,
But this is what we do out here in the JV Sports Room, man. We're gonna throw everything out there.
the 111 pick is in. And
What
it's
is it?
not as much of a surprise as some of us are going to think, right?
What do we got?
Cooking Dubs, like we said, he was going receiver. Goes with Kansas City Chiefs, Sky Moore
Nice.
at the 111 pick.
Nice.
And 112, the last and final pick of the first round. Najee by nature. You got 15 minutes, my man. You on the clock. Sky Moore goes to Cookin Dubs.
Sky Moore goes to Cookin Dubs. I mentioned Sky Moore, small school, Western Michigan, but very productive. And the kicker is, I know I touched on him in a couple shows back. Normally, when you have guys from smaller schools, they try to get as much tape out as possible. So, that being said, they stay in school. They stay for their senior year. Sky Moore, on the other hand, comes out early. He comes out as a junior. He went in the second round, pick 22. Some scouts had him in that first round, potentially with that late pick with Kansas City. Runs a 4.4, comparable to Golden Tate type player. So smaller. Built like a running back. You watch the film, he wears number 24.
Right.
You kind of get confused, like, man.
I thought he was a running back.
He looks like a running back. But as a freshman, 19 years old, 51 receptions, 802 yards. Follows that up with like I said, this is the way you look at the COVID year. He has 388 yards, but he only plays 5 games.
Right.
And then he has that breakout year, 94 receptions, 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns. He fills, maybe not one for one fills that void of Tyreek Hill, but he fills a void attached to probably the best quarterback in the league in Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I mean, at 1.11, you can't be mad at the pick for anybody. You know what I'm saying?
At all.
A lot of people probably like, why did you take him when you got Pat Mahomes? It's like, to me, you've seen the shows. I can't buy into the hype. Granted, at 110, it would make sense to make a move like that, but we out here to be unorthodox. At least I am. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna shake it up. You dig?
I mean,
but
personally,
you know what I'm saying?
I think it made no sense for you to take
I
Sky
got
Moore
Juju.
with you having Juju already.
But and mind you, Juju's 25.
Exactly.
I take a wide receiver who has 6 years in. Let's go back to Isaiah being 20 years old, just like Juju coming to the league at 20 years old. So I'd rather take these young cats that got more experience and all right, let's see what it is.
Yeah. And the last and final pick of this first round is on the board. My man Najee by nature, the champion from last year. Let's go through his team. All right. Champion
Nice
Najee
squad.
by nature
Nice
has
squad.
Justin Herbert as his starting quarterback.
Mind you, before we dive into the league, let's just lay the foundation. Yo, this man flipped this team upside down.
Yeah.
This guy he had the first pick. Actually, his name is Najee by nature because he had Najee Harris. He had the first pick last year.
Right.
Takes Najee Harris. Did some wheeling, dealing. I know I did some trades with him, but let's go down the list now.
And that was multiple years that he had first pick because he's been rebuilding for a couple years now, and it turned into a championship. So props to him. Chris, props to you, my man.
Same situation as J Money. In the dictionary, worst to first had a picture. This is it right here. From worst to first. Go ahead.
My man Najee by nature starts his he's got starting quarterback of Justin Herbert. Wonderful, awesome young talent for the Los Angeles Chargers. Backed up by Matt Ryan. He's got Jimmy Garoppolo over there as well. But also at running back, Austin Eckler, who we just talked about. He might be coming to see you for Isaiah Spiller soon. Ezekiel Elliott, who is aging, but he used them last year. Najee Harris, right? He's got DeAndre Swift. He's got a couple good backups, handcuffs, as we mentioned earlier, and Jamal Williams and Tony Pollard behind Ezekiel Elliott. Wide receivers, he's got arguably the best dynasty wide receiver in the league in Justin Jefferson. He's also got Stephen Diggs, CeeDee Lamb, and Deebo Samuels. A couple other young pieces like Darnell Mooney, and he's got Mark Andrews at tight end.
He's loaded, man.
So,
He's got a
the
squad,
man is
He
loaded.
got a squad.
Half his
He's got a
team has
squad.
come from J Money.
And me. He got it for me, too. He got Zeke and CeeDee Lamb for me.
Yeah, you don't bless this team,
So,
dog.
Yeah.
So
Like,
JV
yo, we
SportsRoom
don't bless
has
this
blessed
team.
Garap's championship. I'm sorry, not Garap, Najee's championship, and he's got 12 minutes on this clock to add whatever piece he's going to add to this championship roster. Where do you guys think he goes? Obviously, it's probably not quarterback or tight end. I'm thinking he's pretty set there. He's probably just going to keep adding assets, right?
This is the prime example of best player available. You don't really have any holes. You look at his running backs, look at his wide receivers. No holes to be found.
Yep. I mean,
take the best
that's what
player.
a champion should have. No holes, right?
I think for him, he goes wide receiver. He, I mean, at this point, what running backs you talking about that's out there? I mean, do you take a Christian Watson? Many are high him. Many are high on Christian Watson. If you're not a Christian Watson guy, then
Maybe a Jahan Dotson.
you take a Jahan Dotson. Or do you just go ahead and take a David Bell, who's 18.7 breakout age, who I consider at that last pick?
Yeah.
But again, you know, we already talked about why I did what I
You
did.
like slow guys. I see.
Well, Jerry Rice ran a 4.71.
Oh man.
The greatest receiver in the
Definitely
game.
an outlier. But, but you just ran down a couple names, right?
Yeah.
This is the prime reason why I go from 2-3 to 2-1. Because here we are at the end of the first round.
You got some
Now
blessings there.
there's some names out there that kind of interest me. Like, oh man, I
yeah.
can get one of these guys.
Right.
Yeah,
You know,
got
this
some
is
names out there.
why I do the deal. Earlier with Baby Shark. Depending where he goes, for me, Christian Watson, tied to Aaron Rodgers. Second round draft capital. I kind of felt like they lost out on the run of wide receivers, and they kind of had to make a move. I'm not a big fan of Christian Watson.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I ain't like it, man. To me,
He's too fast for you, I guess.
it's way too fast, bro. Like I just, 6'5", 198 pounds.
Right.
What you got? Like a Robbie Anderson.
He did
Type
run
player.
fast.
Yeah, he is.
You know what I'm
skinny.
saying?
He is
Like,
skinny.
I just-
He
I
is
just-
quite slim.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, so what are you gonna do with that? And here's the thing about Aaron Rodgers, man. You run your route wrong, and that pass it becomes a pick. Yo, you in his doghouse for weeks to come.
You may not get
Know what I'm
another
saying?
pass thrown to you for weeks.
I'm honestly, not for nothing, Dino. Yo, you got the cat. You got the cat in Green Bay.
Alan Lazard.
Yes, sir.
Alan Lazard, he's already
You know what
got
I'm
a
saying?
repertoire
Yeah.
with Aaron Rodgers. He's
Yeah.
already got some trust. Oh, absolutely. Trust
Yeah.
me, I know.
So you know what I mean? Like, to me,
Anybody
I'm like,
interested in Alan Lazard, he might
kinda-
be on the block.
and I said it before, Romeo Dubs
Yeah,
over
there you
Christian
go.
Watson, in my opinion.
Like I said, man, I kind of feel like the Green Bay Packers missed out on the run of wide receivers. They were just they fell asleep at the wheel. This draft pick kind of makes me. It's like a feel-good draft pick. Like, all right, we needed to do something, so let's go get Christian Watson.
Right.
Again, I'm not a fan. We've seen these guys before. North Dakota State, small school.
Personally,
you mentioned
I
it.
like what the Eagles and I hate to say that. I like what the Eagles and I like what Baltimore did. They saw the run go quick, and they said, you know what? Let me go get a veteran. Kind of like JDINO did in this draft. With Elijah Mitchell. He goes and gets a running back that he's already seen, and adds it to his team. And instead of hoping that a possibility of one of these second round picks turns out. So
For sure.
I like what those teams did more than what Green Bay did here for Aaron Rodgers personally.
He's got the draft capital. Let's pull him up again. North Dakota State, same school as Carson Wentz. He big kid, 6'4". Ran fast, 6'4", 208. He's 23 years old, so he's a little bit older than a lot of these rookies. But he ran a 4.36, so we know the speed is there. But at the same time, his speed score, 98th percentile. Burst score, 95th percentile. So he's up there with the elite of the elite as far as athleticism, speed. Again, late breakout age. He was 20 years old when he broke out.
Right.
It's funny, he's best comparable to Denzel Mims because before I even saw that, as I'm watching the film and I'm looking at him, he's
So
just
what are we looking at Denzel Mims? Are we looking
That's
at
what I was
Chase
just about
Claypool?
to
Are we
say.
looking at a Martavius Bryant?
I'm hoping.
Dorial
what-
Green
what-
Beckham.
Yeah, Dorial Green Beckham. What has
thing
he?
is-
That's
my
what I'm
thing is,
saying.
what
Like,
kind
come
of
on.
what kind of love is that when you're saying he's
Yeah.
comparable to a man that's already out of the league after 3 years?
I mean,
Hey, Logan, going back to terrible picks. What's up with the Dorial Green Beckham, by the way, man?
the production's just not there for me, man. Small. I mentioned small school. He played with Trey Lance, but not freshman
we'll
year,
see.
9
We'll see.
catches, 165.
Najee by nature, you got about 7 minutes left, my man. What you got?
Didn't break over 1,000 yards.
Pick of the JV Sports Room first
See,
Gentlemen's
you know what else I like
Club
about what I did?
draft.
Nah, really shake up the draft for where people gonna go in the second.
Where's he gonna go?
You didn't get somebody that falls because it's a little bit of it's like a game of chess kind of.
It's a game of chess.
You give up your rook, or you give up your
Your pawn.
Nah, the pawn is easy. I'm thinking of what's the thing with the crown?
That's the
You give up your knight, right? You give up your knight,
the knight,
so you can end up getting someone on the back end. I see what you did. I see it's a game of chess. It's a little chess.
Shook it up a little bit.
So let's get Najee by nature in here, man. Let's
6.5 minutes left, Najee. What you got for us?
Let me get on this little text
man.
thread.
So this is how we're gonna close it out. Let's run it down for
Let's recap.
everybody.
Yeah.
We're gonna recap for everybody that might have missed it. All right. We started out the draft. Logan traded a haul for haul. All right. He traded 3 first-round picks yesterday and a second-round pick for for what turned out to be the 101, which was Breece Hall. CHICKENCOOP followed that up, snatching Kenneth Walker, pairing him up with Rashard Penny on his team at the 102. Big body boy himself snatches up the first wide receiver off the board in Drake London. Number 4 goes Treylon Burks to Baby Sharks. Finally didn't trade his pick. 5th pick originally was Jameson Williams to my man.
It was there, Jameson.
Big J here, but then that got traded. So in reality, he ended up with the 7th pick, which was Garrett Wilson. The 6th pick in between that got moved a couple times. Got moved for Elijah Mitchell, and then got moved to J Money for an extra 2nd-round pick next year, and he ends up taking Chris Olave. Jameson Williams ends up going to Baby Sharks at 107. Well, essentially, right? 108 comes down. Who ends up taking to Big
James
Body
Cook.
Boy again? He takes James Cook, the 3rd running back off the board, the 4th running back in this draft. All right. Number 9, my man over in the Kobe corner, Mr. Pickens himself, follows it up with the surprise of the draft, Isaiah Spiller at number 10. Number 11 goes Sky Moore, and we are waiting about 4.5 minutes for the number 12 pick. Najee by nature, you on the clock, my man.
Feel like
What you
with
got?
Olave
You
and Pickens,
trading
I
or
could take that
picking?
gamble.
You can't have Pickens because he already
Feel
took
like with
him.
Olave and
But are you
Pickens, I could
trading or
take
are you
that
picking this pick?
I like those two. I'm happy with that.
Champ on the clock, and it looks like, looks like J Money updated his trade block. Thanks. Sorry, wrong text, wrong email I was waiting
Hey,
on.
keep the people entertained, man.
That was a good rundown. I mean, is that sound about right?
Great rundown.
Great rundown, man.
And we here.
We mentioned Christian Watson. I mean, Jahan Dotson's got to be in this conversation right here.
Right. You mentioned David Bell. We haven't talked much about him.
David
What about
Bell?
David Bell, man?
Talk to us.
He's the arguably in competition for the number 1 receiver job over in Cleveland. He got Amari Cooper to deal with, but I mean, Deshaun Watson, the new quarterback over there, plenty of opportunity. There's no Baker Mayfield anymore, so there's plenty of opportunity. David Bell, another great pick here. Who else
Young breakout with David Bell at Purdue.
Yep.
Not really known as a powerhouse for wide receivers, but we saw Rondell Moore last year. But David Bell has super early breakout, 18 years old, productive from Jump Street, 1,000-yard season after 1,000-yard season. But again, similar to Isaiah Spiller, just poops the bed at the combine. It's not really explosive, not really bursty. I mean, we've seen wide receivers produce in the league. Like I mentioned on the show last week, Keenan Allen and Cooper Kupp, and I mean the list goes on. So definitely, David Bell is interesting in this conversation. Jahan Dotson, Rashad White, running back from Tampa Bay.
So what do you do with Rashad White, though? I mean, all right, let me give you my perspective with Rashad White. If you're a win now team, and if we go back to after what Najee by nature did in trading Fournette to get Eckler,
Yep.
if you're a team that's out here trying to get the chip, I think Rashad White is a great pick for him because
I agree.
as a team that has Brady and you want to get some value and you trying to play for the chip, that's the reason why I did not take a Rashad White if I had to look at a running back and I put Isaiah Spiller because I know I'm not playing for the chip.
Absolutely.
But if you're a win now team, Rashad White is a great pick right here.
100%. We talk about James Cook. We talk about Isaiah Spiller as pass catchers. Rashad White is another big pass catcher.
Yeah, we figure all that. What happens after Brady stuff? After you
For the 1 year.
Yeah,
Right.
for the 1 year.
Agree 100%.
You
Tom
just got to
Brady-
have the pieces in place to be out there competing now.
And we mentioned it. I believe it was on the NFC South show. If you haven't seen it, check it out on JVSPORTSROOM on YouTube. I think we mentioned it. You know, Tom Brady's always had that Danny Woodhead, James White player. And last year they thought they kind of had it with Giovanni Bernard, but due to injury, it didn't really pan out. Leonard Fournette is a pass catcher, but Rashad White is 6 foot, 217, 215 pounds.
Do some David Johnson comps on him.
David Johnson comps. Ran faster for his size. But little older. I believe he's 23 as well.
Yeah, he's pushing
At
24
Arizona
for the
State.
season.
Right. So similar to Brandon Ayuk, the wide receiver from Arizona State.
He was a transfer player, right?
Yeah, he transferred. He went to a small community college.
Yep.
And transferred to Arizona State. He's another name. Like, I love the call as far as being a championship contender, adding Rashad White to use him or to end up flipping him to, in season. That could be another option for Najee.
Indeed.
Yeah, just got a text from Chris Najee. He said he needs about 5 minutes to make his pick. So that's what we
Give him the 5 pick. It's the last pick.
Yep, last pick of the draft. We're gonna give him that 5 minutes.
Man, what a day. What a day.
Yeah, man. A couple surprise picks here. We ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 running backs overall in this first round.
But you know what? You know what I dig about this draft right now, man, and what we do here, not just what we putting together for people on a live draft for gentlemen, but from a JV sports perspective, holding this live draft, it almost gives a vibe like a real NFL type draft, right? 'Cause
Right.
we see picks in the first round that are questionable, right?
Right.
And I'm gonna be that guy. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be that guy. So
Be
just
that
like
guy.
what you
But
see
we
in
got
the
it
draft.
on footage. He said he was going to acknowledge you when he blew up. So we're gonna get that. We're gonna get that
Yeah,
acknowledgement.
no, 100%. I'll be the first, man. I don't hold nothing, no grudge. If he pops, I will acknowledge, yo, that was a ballsy. You grabbed your, and you made the pick, and it panned out, 100%.
So
Unlike other people that won't acknowledge ones before them, I will. I will do that. I'm not, let's say that.
not pointing no fingers and nothing.
Yeah, we're not gonna leave it at that. But at the end of the day, you all have to meet your maker, and at one point you will acknowledge me. You know who I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking to. So let's get this pick in, man. I'm ready. I'm ready for the second round. See who's available.
You ready?
I'm at the 2-1, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm ready, man.
Anybody for you now.
You getting gifted right now.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
chilling right now.
You getting gifted right
I didn't think I was, I didn't think I was gonna be looking at this when I originally made the move. I was a little iffy on what I was gonna be looking at, but I'm kind of excited.
I think if you never made that trade up to 2-1, Spiller would have been
2-3, he was gone.
See what I mean?
100%.
That's the way I look at it.
100%. 100% he was
So
gone.
I rather see. Here's the thing too. Like
Here's my question.
I'm in 5 dynasty leagues. Hold on, real quickly. I'm in 5 dynasties, right? So I feel like just like you should never put all your eggs in one basket, right? When it comes to your financial investments, right? Dynasty league too. When it comes to your players, if you got shares of cap, flip it up a little bit, man. If you're in more than one league, flip up your investment a little bit.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Don't just. I see cats sometimes they go after all the same players, and that joint flop or to get an injury 1 or 2 of them. Now you done spent all this buy-in, you not even eating anything. I try to make sure I target that. If I can come off at least one of my leagues, I'm still profiting. You see what I mean? So, but then now as you build your squad and you start coming off 2-3 leagues a year, now you making more money. Now you start building on that dynasty money. You see what I mean? When it comes to this.
There you go. Now here's my question, Big Body.
Yeah.
If he didn't take Isaiah Spiller at 110, was that where you were going at 2-1?
Considering that Jahan Dotson or David Bell would have went in my pick.
Yeah. It would have been interesting.
I have to be real with you. I think if I would have took a receiver, I would probably have just taken Bell right there, like whatever.
That's what I figured.
Yeah.
That's what I figured you were gonna go.
So I like slow players.
Apparently. No, at 2-1, it's interesting. If Isaiah Spiller was there, would I have taken him? It's quite possibly, but if I would have to answer right now,
receiver depth, you got receivers.
I got receivers.
And you're not playing this year. I think you probably would have. I think you would at least consider it to the
Absolutely.
point.
I would have considered it,
Knowing that
I didn't have a second round pick.
Yeah.
I probably would have ended up trading back. Honestly.
Trying to trade back.
I would have tried to trade back. For
See,
sure.
even more reason for J Money to have made his pick. Good job, J Money.
Well,
Getting your guy.
yes, but at the same time, I say, but he did go and he
The
did
deal
go on
wasn't
and
there.
say
I'll be
he
real.
didn't want to give up more draft capital.
Yeah.
My play would have been not to take him if I'm J Money. If I put the J Money hat on, not to take him, and then if he's your guy, like clearly he is, do whatever it took to go get him.
Not at this point, because I feel like I'm not in position.
Because you could have got two birds in one stone.
But-
you could have
but-
got the guy.
Nah, I don't think because I know the price it would have cost to go up from the 2.8 to 2.9. It would
Well,
have.
if I'm sitting at 2-1, you would say 2-1.
Nah, you would. I have no seconds in 23.
It's
I'm not
expensive
giving
dealing
up
with this
none
guy.
of them. I got 3 firsts in 23. None of them are gone.
Right.
None of them are gone. And I got a 4th. That's it after that. And nobody's gonna be interested in the 24 second right now for me to move up right now. So and I don't even want to give that up either. I got 3 seconds in 24 along with 2 firsts in 24. So
We talked about if
And said we don't draft for need.
it's really to each his own. Honestly, some people do. Some people are set up to where they, best player available. Others are right there and they're really one piece away, and that's their need. It's really to each his own. But going back to, we talked about Isaiah Spiller and the odds, and I saying that I would acknowledge you if he pops. But at the same time, what about on the flip side of that? And he ends up being what he is, which is a 4th round, slow running back.
then I own up to it.
That was his dart throw.
I own up to
he
it.
Felt,
But
he
here's
felt safety with Chris Olave and
I
George
honestly did
Pickens,
not expect
right?
to come out with Olave, and like I told him earlier, I said make my pick for me at 1.08. For a second he started getting on the Pickens conversation. I try not to show my hand, but in my mind I was like, motherfucker, excuse my language. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, dang man, I hope this boy don't do that shit. You know what I mean? But when he went with Cook, cool. So to me, coming off with Olave, coming off with Pickens, I'm great at that. I'm happy with that. And I didn't take Isaiah Spiller from a need perspective. I took him at it from a concept that I'm not playing for this shit. You know what I mean?
Great.
So I'm going to let the situation play itself out, and I'm going to take that gamble that a lot of people won't do at this point. And I think that's what when you look at from an NFL perspective, when you go to the draft and these teams take these players that are questionable, when we took, like as a Niner fan, when we took Patrick Willis that early in the 1st round, ended up being one of the greatest middle linebackers to play the game. Right. You see what I'm saying? It's just, and that's just one name to say. You see it every year. And as well as you see every year players go on late. That end up being someone no one looked at. So I just, if you, I love what you say about what Bernie said. A man's pick is a man's pick. So if you see the upside in something, then do it. Now, if Spiller went to another team outside the Chargers, would I have done that? Nah.
Because
But I love the situation that he has in front of him, and I love the running backs that's behind Spiller. That does not bring a threat.
Right. There's nobody of
what he can
consequence
do.
that is going to.
Because football speed is a lot different than combine speed. I will always stress that. So.
Bernard Hicks said JV Sports is the channel for good content. Wish they touch on fantasy once a week.
Hey, we could definitely start touching on it a little more often. Obviously, with the football season coming back around, fantasy football is going to be very relevant. So we will be touching on it a little more often. We have a trade, ladies and gentlemen. The 112 was actually, the 112 was actually traded along with the 2024 second for Mike Evans. Boy, Mike Evans been on this block lately.
Wow.
Look at that.
Najee by nature trades the 112 and a 2024 second round pick for Mike Evans to Cookin Dubs.
I said it when we were talking Cookin Does too. I said now I think he officially said This is the side of the fence I'm on.
All right, well,
Mike
Cooking
Evans.
Dubs, you're on the clock, my man.
So if you look at it like
Back on the
this,
clock, Cooking Dubs.
we talked about if you're a win now team and Rashad White, being the move right here to go ahead and make that pick. Instead, he went with the wide receiver in Tampa, knowing he's a win now team, and took Mike Evans to add into that receiver. I'm not mad at it. When you look at Najee by Nature's team, he has no more capital in terms of draft picks in 22.
Right.
He just sold his last capital in 23. And he's still young. He's set to make noise for the next 2 years, guaranteed.
Yeah.
So
Why not
I'm
add
not
a
mad
nice
at it.
piece like Mike Evans? It's definitely a good piece to have this year if he's trying to repeat as champion, right? Mike Evans has no Chris Godwin to throw to for the early half of the season, so I think Mike Evans is going to be very, very relevant
Not
at
mad
least
at
for the
it.
first half of this season.
There's 3 guarantees in life. Death, taxes, and Mike Evans is going to have 1,000 yards.
1,000 yards, right?
I mean, that's what it's about. I mean, Mike Evans is what he is. He's tied to Tom Brady.
Every year.
He's going to have 1,000 yards every year. You can book it. Book it every single time.
Big move. Big move.
I love the deal for Najee.
I like it for both.
I like
I like him for both, absolutely.
Cooking
Yeah.
Dubs, has he
Absolutely.
officially hit that reset button, you think? He's been talking all season about hitting
Yes.
that all off season about hitting
Yes.
that reset
Yep.
button. He's mentioned having Dalvin Cook on the block, and George Kittle, a couple of these other older names. So
Yep.
it doesn't surprise me at all to see Mike Evans get moved on this draft.
Love it. He can replace him immediately with a wide receiver of his choice, or maybe I know he's a Florida State fan, but he's also a Tampa Bay fan. So maybe it's a Tampa Bay running back. I don't know. Who knows? But I'm looking at, like I said, that next wave of wide receivers, whether it's Christian Watson or Jahan Dotson, David Bell potentially.
Indeed.
And to pick up that second round pick in 2024. Some people just throw them out there like it's nothing, but that pick is going to be valuable. At some point, that pick is going to be valuable. It's a good way. I like that. I like that trade for both parties.
At
Get a
the end
championship team, gets a stud wide receiver.
At the end of the day, this draft, this live joint went official to me, man. I think we saw so much movement. We saw the shock factor. Not just from going back to Spiller pick, but trades being expected to see. It's been a lot of movement, man. Salute to everybody and gentlemen, man. Y'all really made this first round. Y'all made this JV Sports Room. A live broadcast for this first round draft official, man. Appreciate all y'all involvement.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all communicating, staying in tune with each other here. And
Very much so,
shout out
man.
to
Very
all
much
y'all.
so.
Shout out to all y'all.
Hey, man, and obviously, man, if you guys like this, we're going to continue to try to do this coming forward in future years. If you want to support the show, you can always Cash App us at $JVSPORTSROOM. Yeah, man, we're going to continue to bring you guys constant content, man. And Bernard, he was a big fan of this and said he wants to see more fantasy football, and maybe we will. And I think we will. We like the feedback.
Yeah. I mean, sitting at the table, we're talking definitely over, 30 years combined of knowledge and fantasy and just doing this. Like,
Facts.
I've been doing this. Me personally, I've been doing this since 2006, 2007.
That's about when I got in.
Yeah, me too. So really, we're talking over 40 years.
Yeah,
right now.
so it's this is what we do, man. When we're not, doing our stuff, as at the house and kids and stuff, we are doing fantasy. We're talking fantasy. The group chats are constantly active. But going back to the draft, you mentioned we saw it all, and this is what I appreciate about these group of guys. Is that we saw it all. We saw the trade up. We saw the trade back. We saw the NBA trade where players pick and then traded. We saw the veteran being traded for. We got a mix of all,
Right.
all aspects of dynasty, of trading. And that's what makes it so much fun is the ability to, if you don't like your team, you have an opportunity to change it and fix it and make picks, bad picks, good picks. Fast picks,
Try to
slow
do
picks.
that shot there, right?
Yeah, he's gonna say in the middle picks, right?
I'm gonna give it about like before the end of the season when I'm gonna look at him. Acknowledge me.
Yeah.
No, and I give you my word, man. I will acknowledge.
We'll see how it shake out, man. It's any given Sunday when it comes to game of football, man.
sure.
I say that all the time. So when these cats be trying to sell prices to me, that just come on, dog. You know what I mean? It's any given Sunday, man.
mean,
you know.
Facts.
We saw Bill Belichick take Cole Strange in the first round of the NFL draft. So
Yeah, it's true.
you know,
I love it, man. I love the different spectrums that we got. Like you said, man, there was a few teams that needed one more piece that felt like that would push them towards a championship run, and there was other teams that were rebuilding, looking for a lot of these extra assets. And then Baby Shark, he moved all over the board because that's just what he does best. However, the 12th pick is in, guys.
It's in.
12th
It's
pick
in.
is in.
It's in.
Cooking
Talk-
Dubs
talk to
with
me.
his trade.
who'd he leave for me?
He takes, with the number 12 pick, Green Bay Packers, Christian Watson. Back-to-back picks for Cooking
Well,
Dubs.
happy man,
Sky Moore and Christian Watson to close out the draft. Great pick to you, my man. He's got essentially, possibly, Aaron Rodgers' newest go-to receiver. We'll see. Anything could pan out. Obviously, like you said, you like Alan Lazard and obviously Romeo Dubs over there. So
I agree.
Christian Watson, he's in a good situation. Let's see how that pans out. He Cooking Dubs. He just turned back the hands a little bit, right?
Yeah, he did.
Mike Evans, pretty much for Christian Watson.
Yeah, you had Christian Watson and Sky Moore. I think you're happy. I think you're happy with that. You throw your darts. You get 2 darts and you throw them both and see what sticks.
Yep.
I love it.
And that closes out the first round of the Gentlemen's Club Dynasty 2022 Rookie Draft.
And I'm back on the clock.
Big J is back on the clock, but that's not happening tonight. We was only bringing you guys the first round. Obviously, you guys like it. Leave comments on the show. We'll be sure to bring you guys more content going forward.
We'll review it, all right?
Yeah.
We'll review the draft
Yeah, for
maybe
sure.
at a later date.
Yeah,
On a later
absolutely,
show.
absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm gonna leave this on one thing. I'm gonna last say that we're gonna keep in mind, and I'm gonna ask you this question:
Go ahead.
what if Isaiah Spiller ends up having a better season than James Cook?
It could very much happen.
Yeah,
It
you know what
could
I mean?
happen.
But I mean, am I on the side to say he is? No, because I like James Cook's situation as well, and I respect his game. But
Yeah.
that's the way football is.
You
man.
mentioned
you just don't know.
It is.
You just don't know, man.
You mentioned the Austin Eckler situation, how
Yeah.
you kind of like it, older injury. I think the James Cook situation is a little bit more clear.
Yeah, it's clear for
It's a
sure,
little bit more
100%. I wouldn't disagree with it.
Again, the draft capital, the situation, all that checks the boxes. Bang, bang, bang down the board. But again, similar to the wide receivers, this guy being the number one, this guy being number one. There's no really standout. It's after Breece Hall and Kenneth Walker. There's no real standout of who
real.
that next guy is.
Basically, we're going to call this show Go Get Your Guy.
Go
That's
get
what
your
we
guy.
did in
Go
this
get your
first
guy.
round. All right?
Go get your guy.
All
Man.
right?
your guy.
I wanted Elijah Mitchell. I went and got him. You wanted Isaiah Spiller. You went and got him. Obviously, Cooking Dubs wanted a pair of these wide receivers at the end of the round. He went and got him. All right? You go get your guy in fantasy. A man's pick is a man's pick. That's all the time we got for you guys today. Gentlemen, I appreciate a banging first round.
Let's go.
Gentlemen's Club representatives, I appreciate you guys being so patient with us and helping us out, making this nice and smooth. Everybody else, man, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you check us out at
So you
sportjv.com.
said.
Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And obviously, like and subscribe on YouTube. Keep hitting that button. We over 1,000 subscribers now, but we ain't stopping, all right? Keep it coming. The content's going to keep coming. Fantasy football content coming. We got more NBA content coming for you guys, man. Just keep locking in with us, all right? JV Sports Room not going anywhere. J Money, appreciate you holding down that Kobe corner.
Chip.
Big J, big body boy, in the starting center spot.
Sir.
And as usual, your host, JDINO. My man, behind the scenes, Vince.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching.